I don't know why you say that.
Hello.
Hello.
I am though. I'm an old woman. How's everybody? Hi Greg. Hi DJ. What's up? How's everybody doing? Happy Sunday. Wow. Go check the Discord again later. Let's see. How's everybody's Sunday so far? Also, this is my computer background. It has been a hamster for years. I am that guy. I'm good. Hey, Yokai Dog, welcome. I wasn't trying to be mean to you, okay? I just want you to know that in Discord. I wanted to be firm, though. That was the main thing. I wanted you to know that, you know, don't tell us that, because it's not about us. It's about you. It's about you and your journey. And if you give up on it, you're giving up on you, not us. Not us.
I think the biggest frustration is what is that getting you? Like, what if you come and you tell us I failed?
Yeah,
like
we wouldn't have known.
Yeah, like what?
Otherwise.
What did you expect to get out of that confession?
Yeah, that's all. We weren't trying to like. Text is so shitty. Like, I'm sorry if that came out wrong, because apparently Pylon jumped down my throat, which I wasn't trying to be that mean.
And I think more so we're trying to like, you know, like say, hey, if you wanted to say something like, this was very tough for me, or maybe you need help on trying to get things going or whatever. You know, like you coming in and saying, confession, I failed. That doesn't help us. It's like saying, confession, this apple is red. But if you wanted to eat the apple, like, you haven't said that to us yet. You know, like if there is something that you wanted to say, you know, use your words.
Anyway, as we were saying, we weren't trying to jump down your throat. So, sorry if it came out that way. You know Gabe and I, we're healers. I'm tired and sore from the 12-and-a-half-hour shift yesterday.
Wow, dude.
Greg, why are you killing yourself?
I imagine that he's not. I'm sure somebody else is killing him. You know, I'm sure somebody's like, you
Greg,
gotta
do you
work.
get to pick your hours, or like how does that work? Do you want to work that much, or does somebody pick your hours for you? Because that kind of sucks. I'm sorry. That's a tough thing, man.
I feel very weird right now.
About what?
Because I have things to do, but right now I'm used to like.
Oh, it feels weird because of the stream?
Yeah, because I'm not. You know, it's been a month, and usually when I'm just not on stream with you,
yeah,
I'm working on my own thing.
This is technically our first non-dual stream in over a month. So, hey, Sniggle.
Sniggle.
Okay. So today we're gonna be doing a little animation. It's gonna be little. It's not a big deal, but it's perfect for anybody who's curious about it, because then you can actually see a snippet of how to do it. You're welcome, Yokai. I'm glad you can see what we see, because to us, saying that doesn't make sense to us. You know what I mean? Like, if you think about it long enough, it's like, why would I say that? You know? So we're trying to just more help you understand why, I guess. But you're welcome. Like I said, I'm sorry that it seemed probably harsher than it needed to be. Now Gabe can sit naked like he wishes. Spoiler alert, he was in his boxers every stream. He was dual streaming with me. And he still is, so it's hot here. And it's supposed to be like storming really bad with tornadoes and stuff. It's going all around us. Like, we got rain for maybe 10 minutes. Kind of sad about it. No, I don't get to pick my hours. Oh, bummer. Oh, Greg. Oh, I'm sorry. Do you at least get some good days off for yourself? I hope so. You deserve them. Don't hurt yourself, okay? Thank you for the host, Clary Doll. How are you? Alright, so I'm doing part of Paladin's overlay. So if you guys are familiar with Paladin, who comes here often, I did his overlay for him. And part of that is doing his bit jar and stuff. And for that, I'll show you. I did all that on stream once too. Some of you, I think, were here for that. Oh, that's literally just the outline. Hold on. Hi, schmuck. Oh, had an accident. Oh no.
In quotes.
What happened? Oh, good. Yeah, sleep a good amount. Sleep until you're content. You earned it. So, we're going to be animating a little dragon today.
Did you say dragon?
I said dragon.
Ooh.
I said good day. I think I put both of these in here, yeah. Overlay. Okay. So this is his overlay.
Just wait at him and be like, okay.
No, I'm gonna invite him onto the stream right now.
Well, let's talk about it.
Yeah.
Good job, DJ.
Yeah! Good start. Proud of you. Because he's obviously up.
Mm-hmm.
I'm inviting a fight right now. Okay, so we're going to be concentrating on this one right here. And I'm doing it in the actual source file, so it's the size it needs to be. Sometimes when you part pieces out, you end up making them smaller than they should be. So it's good to do them in the actual source file you created them in, so you can actually at least go and grab the actual size you need it. Because usually for animations, you don't want to do them in the actual file that you did the overlay in. Because you could end up actually screwing some stuff up. So I recommend going in your source file, grabbing what you need to, and then kind of ditching out, and then going and creating a new file. Here. And we'll save it right away.
Hi, Wim.
Hey, Wim. And we'll go to Paladins. Yeah, Pylon. So, Gabe and I are more motivators, and sometimes that comes across a little harsh in, like, Discord and stuff, in text. So, we already apologized to Yokai about being too hard, just in case they're not the type to, take that kind of criticism, right? But really, why would someone, and I want you to think about this too, before you retort, why would someone say, I failed this to the people that created it. Think about that for a minute. Like, is there a good reason to do that?
Like, are you?
Like, how productive is that?
Yeah, like it seems a lot like when people do that, they're just looking for.
Because you're arguing about something completely different from my view.
And I mean, yeah, that could be the case. Maybe they were looking for, like help.
And I get that you want to stand up for someone, but this wasn't about you.
Yeah.
So.
But I mean, it feels that sometimes people say things like that because they're seeking attention, and I think
we already talked about it with them.
Yeah. So and Yokai admitted to possibly, like him doing that or them doing that to possibly seeking attention of sorts.
But I'm also saying that sometimes when you motivate somebody via text, it can look like you're yelling at them. Yeah. But really, there's no way around that, honestly. And Gabe and I are not the soft teachers to pet you and be like, it's okay, better luck next time, blah, blah, blah. That's not going to help anyone. Good job, Wim.
Good job, Wim.
You've got till probably Friday, end of Friday, to post everything, and we'll be putting out the survey this week.
Oh.
So, we'll have that going. Let's see, how do we want the dragon to be? But really, just coddling people is not going to help. It's not. It's not going to help anyone. Like, that's what happens to rich kids and stuff when they get, oh, honey, it's okay, we'll do better next time, and blah, blah, blah. That's not going to help get stuff done, And if you're coming to me and saying, I failed, that's my invitation to come at you, really, about it. And then we get serious. Because, really, I mean, I'm not wrong in the fact that if you don't take art seriously, it's not going to get serious.
Yeah. This is not a...
it's not an easy field, and we want you to know that.
It's not like a degree in something else where all you got to do is just memorize things and then you get a degree and boom, you can do it now.
That's not art.
No, this is like a visual thing that you need to practice constantly, and if you live your life using excuses, then you're not going to get anywhere. And I hope for someone like you, Pylon, that is in school and you're still young, I hope you're seeing that the people that you admire do it day to day. All of you, every single one of you in chat right now, like, or who are listening, like, if you want to be an artist, look at the people that you admire. Look at how often they draw. Maybe they won't post every day, but I bet you if you ask them, how often do you draw?
They'll say every day.
Every single day. And then, even if, like, oh, I had a 12-hour shift, and I had to pick up my kids, if they really want it, they'll draw for an hour. Yeah, they will still be drawing.
It's true, Fire Seal, you did. Hi, Faith.
Hey.
That's okay. We know you've got a busy life, so, whenever you get in, that's cool.
I was just thinking about Faith.
Yeah?
Yesterday, I didn't get to... I was going to ask, like...
she's got a cute new doggo.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
I was going to comment that I hadn't seen her in a while. Like, not even on the internet. Like, not even on Instagram.
Oh, no, her Instagram and Facebook are full of pup.
Okay.
She got a new puppy.
Oh.
Yep.
So many animals, so many cutes.
I'm hearing a buzzing.
I don't know.
You don't hear that? It sounds like a vibrating phone.
Nope.
Is it me? Well, thanks for the follow, Commander Root. Our job is serious business. Yeah, it's true. It's true. Also, I just don't appreciate fighting in the Discord, so Pylon, that's why I invited you here, so I can throw down in person. Because I don't like it when people start fights. So I'd rather just talk to you about it. Because text sucks. If you guys ever get a chance to actually talk to someone about something instead of talking in text, please do. Because inflection is so important, and a lot of people just take text as they would say it and stuff like that. So it gets so muddy and things get so miscommunicated and people blow up and then friendships die. Like, it's messed up. Granted, you can fight in person and have that too, but regardless, you know.
That's also why there's a voice chat in Discord
Yeah.
that you can always use. So if you've got...
So we'd rather, instead of you guys spamming tons and tons of fighting in the Discord, we implore you to actually use the voice chat and talk it out instead. Lena, she's beautiful. Faith, she's so cute.
There's actually... Remember when we were driving and there was... we were listening to NPR and they were talking about some like blogger or like podcast dude that he'll post things on his Facebook account or he'll post like a podcast that he did, and then people will rage on him. And then he invites some of those people to talk to. So like if they're like if it's some guy who's like fighting for male rights, you know, like he'll invite for men's rights. He'll invite that person on the podcast to talk about it. And every single time, every single one of these people that comes on is like, well, I will admit I got a little heated in my responses, but that's the nature of the internet. You can get heated, and there's nobody to talk you down. Like it's like
everyone doesn't seem like a person.
Yeah, it's like when you're talking to someone one-on-one, like in real life, even just through voice.
Yeah.
Like you feel less aggressive.
It's true.
Yeah, and I guess it's easier to talk about, and like you said, it's easier to understand what the other person is saying through inflection.
Absolutely. I mean, I would say 10 out of 10 times I would rather talk to someone in person than on the internet. Because just there's so much that can go wrong. Even just texting. I'm sure you guys, everyone who's ever texted anything has ran into a problem with, miscommunication. Absolutely. That's just the world we live in. So it just sucks because, when you say something, you gotta like fix it via vocal, so it's rough. Anyway. Yeah, general manners go out the window. That's the best way to put it, Faith, for sure. People forget about being polite or anything like that. They just say, hey, you, blah, 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 blah. You've got to stop being so mean. It's like, wait, you know how you should really have gone about that? You should have clarified they were trying to be mean before you go in, because then that person's now mad that you assumed they were being mean, and then you guys are fighting about fighting, basically. Oh, no. My style of teaching is not the only one that works. I will be the first to admit that. In fact, I find that I've been told I teach many different styles of things, but I mean, the tough love thing has been proven, at least in more ways than one, to be better than coddling. Coddling is that everyone gets a trophy. Everyone gets a trophy, That doesn't work.
That's been proven that it doesn't work.
It doesn't work. Like, it's okay, do better next time. And they're like, okay, it's okay, I failed. The next time, I failed again.
We have
okay. It's okay.
An entire generation of people that are suffering because they were raised that way. Granted, there might be a few that, hey, like they took that as energy to do better next time, but a lot of people did not.
No, I definitely understand there is a middle ground. Yes, You're right, Pylon. Definitely a middle ground. But sadly, that doesn't come through in text. Mm-hmm. And I have one real choice unless I want to write a book in Discord, which I don't, about all the ways to do it. It's just more, instead of ripping apart what I said, look at what they said. Okay? How would you have responded to that? Tell me how you would have responded to that. I want to know. Let's be real. Texting is a new thing. Yeah, but Fire Seal, you're a person that does everything on your own. You never need to be convinced. You never need to be motivated. You never need to be inspired by anyone but you and your ideas. You're like us in that sense, right? But it took us all probably a while to get there, right? But for me, coddling has never worked. For Gabe, coddling's never worked. But I believe in the sandwich method, but that's only when critiquing. I do believe in the, here's what's good, here's what needs help, here's some motivation. I believe in that. I think that works. I think that's a good way to do it, as long as the middle part, the criticism, is honest, it's to the point, and it is a little harsh. I think it needs to be to stick up there, okay?
I think also it's we're not gonna be the coddlers. Like, that's just not who we are. So we're never gonna do that. I mean, once in a while we'll be like, hey, that was really good, but you need to work on this, right? Like,
I'm more curious though, Pylon. If you don't really like us, why do you come here? Like, 'cause you fight with us a lot about stuff. I'm just curious why you stick around. 'Cause it doesn't seem like you really like what we do, I guess.
But yeah, no, I agree. Like, there is a middle ground between coddling and tough love.
Yeah.
But I think
that instance was not a matter of coddling.
Because if they had put, like, all their effort in and they just couldn't do it, and we saw that effort, but like, we don't even, I don't really think we even knew this person. Like, like Yokai, like, we didn't really get to see his entries, or it's not like we saw them put in a butt ton of effort and then they didn't make it. Okay, that's fine. You did really well, but keep going, right? But it was unwarranted.
Hi, Bodhi.
Hey, Bodhi.
Yeah, sorry, Faith. This is not how I wanted to do my stream, by the way. But yes, animation for Paladin. For anyone that knows Paladin, he is a streamer as well now, and he does a lot of miniature work. So if anybody's like super into miniatures or painting them, stuff like that, check out Paladin stuff. He might show up later. He knows this is going on today, so maybe we'll see him. I think his name is just Grey Paladin Art right now.
Okay, it's okay. I mean, like, we're not really fighting. We're just trying to explain, like what is that thing that you always say that it's the thing that you do that it's like your catchphrase, like intention. Yeah, like, what is your intention when you're gonna post? Like, a lot of people do not think, including me sometimes, I don't think before I post something or I say something on the internet. Like, what is your intention?
No, I agree with talking it out, but from what you said, Yokai, I didn't know you wanted help. The way you said that, there was no help asking in there. If you would have said, confession, I didn't finish Journey June, and then added on to that, but is there something I could do to, if you asked for help, that wasn't asking for help, so how are we supposed to know you want help? We don't like imposing, our ways on people if you're not going to ask. I've learned not to give advice unless it's needed, really. So the only thing I saw there as an opening was that you needed motivation. So I just went in and gave you motivation. And then Pylon comes in and thinks I'm attacking you. That wasn't what this was supposed to be. So... Oh, yeah, Pylon, you just argue with us so much that I didn't know that you actually liked us.
It's just it's a weird. I guess it's a weird relationship between us, dude. It's just like a lot of the times that we do talk, it does turn into sort of a big debate. And I mean, me and Ashley, even like after the streams, we talk about how how to talk about it. But no, I mean, we appreciate that you've done all that.
Yeah, we
but-
like that you're here. We just don't.
Yeah.
I guess at the beginning, it didn't make sense because you fight with us so much.
But Yokai had a really good question, which is, should you sacrifice art for sleep or other human needs?
That's up to you.
Yeah.
That's dependent solely on your situation. So there are people that couldn't finish Journey June because they ended up going into the hospital. That's an excuse. The only real thing we'll get mad about when it comes to, well, why didn't you finish this, is laziness. If the only reason that you didn't finish Journey June is just that you were lazy, that's stupid, isn't it? If you have other reasons, like you needed sleep or you needed to eat or something, or whatever, if you just didn't want to rearrange your time to fit it in, that's different,
And I think
it's up to you and how much you want it. People will sacrifice human needs to get what they want. It depends how much you want it. Obviously, try to be smart about it and plan your needs in there, like eating and sleeping. Maybe you'll only get 6 or 7 hours though instead of 8, and you give that other hour to Journey June or whatever challenge you're doing. It's up to you, and it's up to your lifestyle. Some people need to take hours out of their day to do insulin shots, stuff like that. That's them and their situation, and it's up to them to rearrange their situation if they want to. If they can't, some people have clinical like sleep problems. They can't do things because they fall asleep instantly. That's a problem, and that's a good excuse. But laziness will never be an excuse. So I don't know what your problem was with finishing it. It's totally between you and you, like I said in Discord, it's always between you and you, okay? Your journey, what you want to do eventually with art, all that stuff. You and you, okay?
I think also don't lie to yourself, because like a lot of people will say, oh, I should probably take a break. Maybe I should play some video games for like 3 or 4 hours.
And you maybe did half an hour work?
Yeah. Like, don't lie to yourself. Like it.
But I mean, if you're saying that to yourself, that tells you maybe you don't want it that much.
Yeah.
If video games are more important to you than art, maybe that's just a fact. We don't know you. We don't know what you're going through. We can only like give advice for, what we know. So that's kind of where we're at with that. Like I said, we can't do much about it. How's everybody else doing today? Sorry it got so heavy. Not our intention ever. It just seems to happen here, which I don't understand.
Faith, you should Hey, Legal. If Faith, if you like acrylic at all, I would highly recommend getting like they sell like boards.
Do you want to show her?
At Blick. Yeah, let me take one out.
We buy a lot of these boards not for the reason that we should, because really we buy them for like TV trays and stuff, but they are good for other things.
Well, I've got little ones that like work just as good.
Yeah, digital, Legal. Digital. Oh, cute, Faith. A little horse figure set. So wait, Gabe, Faith's talking about painting on a figure, right?
Oh, right. But I was just saying in general.
Alright, Fire Seal. Good luck. You can do it. No, I never want to be told that I only teach one way. That makes me very sad.
Okay.
What?
I thought you were shining it down, so you can't really show it.
Well, I can show it in the camera. Here, Faith. So, Gabe buys these sometimes. They're like blocks. but you put acrylic on them, they're kind of thick.
Yeah, and you can, if you get like a specific stuff, it's called acrylic medium. It can like elongate, not elongate, but it like makes the
It's watering it down without using water.
yeah, so it doesn't lose its brilliance, like the opacity. It doesn't lose the opacity.
Well, the problem is too with acrylic. If you add water, they're easier and more likely to break on the canvas. So the medium keeps them from breaking. It's basically glue, like acrylic glue that like also seems to water it down. A good TV tray? Yeah, there you go, Bodhi. Try the they're these clay boards. I know it's backwards, sorry. But they're just like, usually people use them for acrylic and stuff, but Gabe and I just use them usually for drawing boards because they're really nice, they're thin and they're rigid.
Yeah, because there's a lot of people that get those that are...
Hey AJ.
AJ. A lot of people who get like the really big thick ones or the heavy ones. And ages ago I was like, I be carrying this around on my luggage or in my luggage because these are heavy. So I tried looking for better ones. I don't know where you can get them at, but here's a link to them on Amazon. I know you can get them at Hobby Lobby, but they're a different brand. It's like Da Vinci or something like that. I think Michaels has another brand like it also. They do have a bit of flex to them, but it's not a lot. It's not really bad.
I mean, people are going to have different teaching methods all the time. And I mean, Gabe and I do have our teaching method of tough love and all that because we feel like coddling will never actually get anyone anywhere. But to be told that I only teach one way, that's a different story. I like to think I teach many different things.
Things or ways?
Well, ways too.
Yeah.
Things and ways. It's just the means by which I teach is different. But I mean, I'm not just yelling at people all the time. I know it seems like that, but I'm not. But anyway. Oh, yeah. Oh, Serenity!
Serenity.
Thank you for the sub! I don't have my little camera, so you get the sub, shrub, nub rubs front and center, like this. So, you're gonna get 8 rubs. Make a wish, okay? He's gonna dance. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Sub, shrub, nub rubs. Brrrr. Hope you made a wish. And melancholy clover. For good measure.
I feel like you should bring him to the shifts.
I thought about it, but he can get hurt pretty easily.
That's true.
Hey, gosh.
Josh.
Hmm?
I thought you said Josh. You said Goss.
Goss. Hello, Serenity. How's everybody's Sunday?
Who is continuing work on Journey June? Like, who's keeping with the flow and just, trying to finish it up?
Yeah, because I know a lot of people are still finishing it, which is fine because if you're going for the class, you have till Friday. So keep going. For sure. Oh my god, this is a messy, messy animation. I apologize. Oh, good, Sniggle. Hey, Eliza.
Liza.
It's Monday here. Oh, wow.
Good job, Sniggle. Gosh, what are you talking about? How's that going? Did you are you still working on your plan?
Faith, honestly, that whole thing that you just said was well stated.
Yeah.
That was well stated.
I think also, Faith, like you weren't. I think art for you was gonna be like a secondary thing, right?
Yeah, you said you wanted it to stay a hobby, right? So you're fine. Actually, I have great respect for that. I hope Pylon's still here. I don't think he is though. That's the way to say it. So the last sentence, art isn't a top priority for me anymore. If somebody says, I didn't finish this for this reason because art isn't my top priority anymore, I will leave you alone. It's the people that say art's their top priority and then don't do it. That's when you call them on their shit.
Like, I want to be this when I, grow up or whatever. But it's like, all right, but you're not doing it.
Right. So that's where Gabe and I will jump you. But Faith, I think that's very brave of you to say that. I think that's very mature.
Yeah.
And great respect about that. So, I mean, especially if you don't even want to do stories, don't worry about it. If you just want to be illustration, that's it. That's fine.
I like the way that you said that, Gus. I think my mom is going to stroke one of these days.
Sure,
Like-
legal. Go for it.
Like, is that how you say that?
No. But it's cute.
I like how she said it.
Yeah, it's funny. It's funny, not funny, but you know. Yeah, go for it, legal.
I half expect legal to ask what happened to the Muffin Man.
Muffin Man.
Or what street does the gingerbread man live on?
You're mixing up so many rhymes right now.
Yeah, I don't know.
Gabe, what? Yeah, Cass, don't worry about anything con-wise except applying to cons. And make sure you're not overbooking, really, but I don't know. That's tough.
Or, I mean, like, in general, just hit us up if you've got ideas or whatever. Like, or if there's a...
Honestly, put a list together of the cons you want to do. Go do research on that. Once you find them, send us the list, and we'll tell you what's worth your time and what's not. That's perfect. Faith, you're so good.
That's
yeah,
great, yeah.
That's very well said. Go for it, Serenity.
Huh?
Go for it.
You won't know until you try it.
Yeah. And then obviously if you need any help or guidance, we're here for you.
And, I mean, honestly, like, okay, so maybe you sink $100, $200 into a table, and then maybe you make back half of it. And if it ends up being something that you didn't like, good. It's better than, never actually trying it and never actually doing it and never actually finding out if you like it or not.
That's why I made up that whole saying of finding out what you don't want to do is as important as finding out what you do want to do.
Gus, we can fudge it. Just like I said, send the things, and then literally you can just fudge it. Honestly, actually, that is a very business plan. Like,
Yeah,
that's how people do business
They're
plans.
asking you to make them a business plan.
Yeah.
Which is hard with cons because cons, you can't really do that until, like, you can say, I'm planning to apply for these ones, but, let them know there's no guarantee you're going to get into them,
But I think that's
Oh, Yeah, Serenity. Yeah, she should. They should go for it.
Yeah.
Whatever they. I mean,
Oh, okay.
I think they should go for it. I mean, depending on what they want to do, I guess. It's always going to depend on what you want to do. See? Okay, I'm so proud of you guys. Because, I mean, figuring out the storytelling thing, now you know, right? It's not as easy as it sounds. And it's kind of an advanced thing, because you have to think a lot. I think people, when they say they want to do stories, they don't think about how much thinking there is. There's more thinking than there is drawing. And I don't think a lot of people realize that.
Yep.
And that's why, honestly, part of the reason we did Journey June, so that you could feel that, you know? And I'm glad you guys have realized that. In all honesty, I'm glad you've realized that. Hi, Paladin! Working on your dragon. But yeah, storytelling is, I'd say, an advanced form of art, really, because not only do you have to be an artist, if you're an artist that's also being a writer, but you have to write it, you know? And for a lot of the artists that I know that also write their stories, if they can keep a balance of both and do a good story and good art, that's super commendable. That's like back in the day when, like 1920s and stuff, where people could sing, dance, act, you know, do acrobatics and stuff. Like back then, when you were an actor or an actress, you had to do everything. So, we're doing okay, Paladin. We're doing okay. It's harder than expected, yeah.
Gene Kelly.
So now you won't go around saying, I've got a million stories. Do you? Are you going to do all of them now that you know how hard it is to do them? So it's kind of calling people on their shit, but also just showing you what it's like, you know? Going to university soon, maybe. I really want to be an employed artist for a company, but I don't know what course I should take. Legal, you were in Europe, right? It totally makes sense. I think if right now you want to go into being an artist for a company, go for it. Go to college for that, like you're saying, do the university thing, get whatever you need to do and try it. If that's where your heart's pulling you right now, go for it. And see how that goes, because you might be there, you might hate it, you might be there, you might love it. Depending on where you feel at that point, then you can switch. Because something I had to learn is even when you reach your dream, that may not be where you are forever. And that was kind of a hard pill for me to swallow. So you can always change what you want to do. Nothing is permanent, everything is temporary. So know that. And that should bring you actually a little bit of comfort, knowing you could always change it, you know?
I think also something to remember, try to think like what do you want to do at this job? Like what is it you want?
That's gonna help, yeah. So think about if you want to animate, if you want to do graphic design, if you want to do character design, that's going to help you pick what classes you do. And yeah, both of us went to college for art. I ended up going into gaming for 10 years for art, so I worked for a company. That ended up not being me. But a lot of my friends love working for companies, and that's fine. Everyone is on their own journey in whatever they want to do, and whatever fits them and their lifestyle and how they're okay with things. Like if you want insurance, if you want a family, if you want to buy a house and have a nice car, you're going to probably need to work for a company. Unless you bust your ass freelance-wise and can figure something out, there's a difference there. So depending, and usually I ask people this, what do you want out of life? If you want stability, really nice things, all that sort of stuff, go with a company. If you're okay with having kind of a crazy schedule and being a little poor, maybe not having health insurance, that sort of thing, freelance is more fun if you're going that route anyway. Legal says, I want to be like Gabe. He's so good at what he does. The university is kind of like on about trying to be the next Van Gogh.
Okay. All right, legal. Check this out. If you're gonna go to university that is
Hi, Red.
trying to make you the next Van Gogh, but you want to draw cool things, like you just want to illustrate, and by illustrate I mean like just draw characters or draw comics or whatever you just want to draw. Like the number one thing that I wanted to do was go to a fine art college, learn how to be an artist, right? How to paint, how to draw people properly, how to draw what I see properly. Fine art colleges will probably teach you that, but they'll also expect you to learn on your own. All schools will expect you, they're going to show you the door, but you're going to have to do all the footwork. You're going to have to walk through that door and, open the door and do all that.
If you're going to say a motto, say it.
If you're going to see a door, you need to look at it.
Hold on. Do you guys want to see Gabe? He's talking a lot this stream, so.
Should I put up my thing?
It'd be nice.
Okay.
But yeah, I would say if you want to work for a company though, like Gabe doesn't exactly work for a company, he is technically freelance. So there's that. But, I mean, you're gonna have to just think about what you want to do more than anything. And that's gonna help. Yeah, AJ's right. Do some fundamentals. Figure that out. Goss, I don't think so. I think this is actually the first art jam we're not going to be at because we're going to be doing the Journey June classes. That's the weekend of the Journey June classes. So, I mean, that happens. But we've done every other art jam, so. Sniggle said, put a shirt on, it's camera time.
I think the biggest thing, if you want to be an artist like me, is, or an artist who has my, I guess, like that I can draw a bunch of different stuff all the time, you're just going to have to draw a bunch of different stuff all the time. It's really stupid easy.
I mean, listen to AJ too. It's okay to supplement stuff, but if you don't want to be a freelancer, there's no shame in working for a company. You know, so like you were saying, you want to work for a company? Cool. Do it. Yeah, you're allowed to be scared. It's scary.
Yeah.
It's a very scary time. But just know that whatever you choose, if you don't like it, you can get out of it. It's okay. Nothing is forever. All right? I wish someone had told me that. Because I really felt like once I went to college, once I got my career, I was in my career for 10 years after going to school for that career. And eventually I was like, you know what? I don't like this. I thought I was going to like this, and I don't. And you can change it. It's okay.
It's actually a fact that people change their careers, like, dramatically. They change their careers at least 3 times in their lifetime.
But, I mean, if you think about it, I didn't waste 20 years, but there were 20 years that I wasn't doing what I'm doing now, but that doesn't mean they were wasted. I still use everything I learned from all of that time. So it was really important. Can you just go down to where you're going to be most of the time? Okay, you're going to need to move your banner to that way. Yeah. Now, hold on. It's weird. More to that side. Yeah, good.
Yeah, legal. You honestly, you won't really even know.
You won't know till you walk it.
Yeah, you won't know until like probably after your first or second year at uni. You won't know really what it's going to take to do what you want to do. Honestly, that's why they have the first year where you just take a lot of fundamental classes, because that's sort of like, you know, like lets you know, all right, I do like this, but I really hate that, and so that first year you're gonna figure everything out, hopefully, and if you don't, then you get another year, and if you still haven't figured it out, well,
Crane, you didn't learn anything? Come
Whatever,
on.
Crane. You're working. You're in the industry, dude.
Crane, you learned something, I'm sure.
I've seen your work. You
You took something away. You
yeah.
did. Whether you realize it or not.
Oh,
Doesn't mean it was worth it, but I'm sure you learned something. You know.
but legal 100%. The best piece of advice that I can give you is, don't let anyone tell you what to do, unless it's the police.
And even then, kind of question it.
Yeah, or whoever's paying or whoever's signing over the checks so that you can eat. Maybe, but because especially in school, if your teacher is telling you some shit that you know is wrong or you question is wrong, question them. And if they give you any guff, and it's obvious that they're doing something bad, go to the dean. Go to whoever.
Wait, what are you talking about?
Well, because I've had teachers that like.
Specifically, what are you talking about? Because it
I've
sounds
had
like
teachers.
you're talking about them touching you inappropriately.
No. This isn't like sexual harassment. I'm
Okay.
talking about like we've had teachers that are like, all right, guys, print out this page of this comic and then ink it.
Oh.
And
Gabe's
then,
talking about the teachers. This is such an isolated incident. He honestly shouldn't have brought it up.
well, no,
But having the teachers work on something that isn't school related, is personal related, they're using you as labor.
well, then there's also situations like we had another teacher that obviously didn't know the program. We were using Flash at the time. Obviously didn't know the program well enough, and he kept telling kids that they couldn't do something specific, like it was impossible to do it. And I had to walk over there, like 5 minutes later, and be like, "Hey, you can do that."
But here's the problem: if they don't know, they wouldn't know to stop it. So,
Well, so what I'm trying to get at is, if you know something is going on, talk about it. Also
If you
ask.
know.
Also ask. Like I had a lot of classes where there were a lot of projects where I knew I wasn't going to be doing that. I had 3D design classes where you had to make a model or something, and I knew 1,000% I was not going to do any sort of 3D
that
rendering.
doesn't matter though.
nothing.
You're in that class. You're in that. That's part of your curriculum. You can't change that.
No, I understand that, but I asked, and the teacher was like, "You know what? I don't care as long as you turn in something substantial. You can do that," because they saw how passionate I was about illustrating.
That's teacher dependent.
That is very teacher dependent, but you
He
won't.
got very lucky.
I got very lucky, but you won't know until you actually ask. And if you have a good, obviously don't just be like, "Hey, I don't like this assignment. Can I do something else instead?" Like if you show that you're obviously not doing that, like I think a lot of these teachers are usually, not a lot of them, but some of them are keen on how much art school can suck and how much they have to teach you something, but they know that it's dumb. So ask. Always ask. Going into fine art.
Gabe is fired up today, and
Yeah.
I can't explain it.
It's the coffee.
He needs to chill a bit.
Well, so legal.
Fine art, I don't think. Well, it depends. Do
What
you
do
want to
you-
do stuff on computers? Because fine art will not translate to computers. If it'll be closer if you have very limited options. Like if you want to do something with computers later, like 3D animation, doing something like graphic design will probably get you closer to that than fine art. I don't know what your options are, but you gotta think of the base of what it is and what you want to do. Like, have an end game in mind for yourself. Like, even if it's a little ridiculous. Like, I went to school with people that were like, I want to work for Blizzard, I want to work for Riot, I want to do Pixar, Disney. Okay, you probably won't, but this is the whole shoot for the moon, because even if you miss, you'll land among the stars thing, right? So even if you miss, at least you'll have that schooling to be able to go do that thing, right? Depending on how much you put into it, that's going to dictate where you end up. You have to take the grades while you're in education. AJ's right, yes. I want to do digital. Okay, so legal, that's really important, because all that is fine art, is paint. So if you just want to do digital stuff, that is not fine art.
So, what do you want to do at Riot though? Because, I mean, I could say I want to work for Riot, but I want to work as a janitor there. You know, like what exactly do you want to do there?
Don't say concept art.
Yeah. Like you could be a flavor text writer. Like maybe I want to be a writer at Riot, right?
I mean, if you just want to work with like computers and stuff, if you don't want to do the concept art, you could be marketing for Riot. You could do all the, like, they need someone to do, you know, product things. They would need someone to do like banners and marketing and things like that. Those are usually easy jobs to get, honestly, because you don't have to do much. I would say legal for right now, for you, if I had to kind of veer you in a certain way, graphic design would probably be your safest bet because it gets you into computers, it gets you to know the basics of like typography, how to compose stuff, but it doesn't put you into like fine art and stuff like that, the stuff you don't like, right? So.
But oh, the splash art? Okay.
Yeah, you can do splash art too. Like that's a total thing.
In that situation, then, like, if you want to make,
However,
those are illustrations.
so Victor made the splash art for a character he helped design.
Yeah.
So that might end up more in the reins of a character concept artist.
Well, so regardless of what it is, like, if you want to make illustrations, then I would say fine art because, like, you.
It sucks there's no in between.
But that's the thing. Like I knew when I was younger that, well, not when I was younger, but after sitting on my ass and not doing anything and not going to school, I knew that if I could get into a school where they just taught me how to paint, that I could learn how to paint, and then having the knowledge of how painting works, I can take that into digital, learn the program, learn their tricks, and then boom, I can start painting. Instead, I had to learn backwards, and still I'm not that great at painting on digital. But you throw me in front of some watercolor, some gouache, I can beat the hell out of it.
Well, you do really well digitally too.
Because I know how to do it in real life.
It's true.
Right?
Okay, so legal, if you do want to do that sort of thing, I would say go the fine art route, and you will have to use paint sometimes. That's just part of it. But it is better you learn how to use the traditional things first, and then, apply it to digital.
Because it's like if you know the real stuff, if you know how to use paint for real, using the computer is like easy mode.
Yeah.
And I know that's, some people are going to be like, no way, digital painting is hard. No, if you know how to paint in real life, digital painting, it's so much easier. There's so much more that you can do. Like, you can get colors that are harder to achieve. You can get glows. Like, it's a pain in the ass to make a glow and make it look believable with paint. Like, that's tough. Unless you're using airbrushing, right? But yeah, legal, like, it won't be useless. Like, that's why we tell everyone, like, everyone that wants to be some sort of illustrator, get away from the computer and learn it on paper. Learn analog first, get badass at analog, and then go into the computer stuff. Or do it at the same time, whatever. You're gonna, like, end up, a lot of the people at that school will probably end up being, I don't want to say a lot of them, but some of them will probably end up being like I painted a square with a circle inside of it to represent my loneliness. And you might get a lot of those if it's a fine art school. Don't pay attention to those people. They're like musicians, like they have to put on this sort of character. But if you get into like a real conversation with them, they probably won't be like that. Like if it's just the two of you. But it's like an act that you got to put on to be like And this bird is representing the flight of man against the blackness of my soul, you know?
Thank you, Eliza. Oh, Faith, you would do so well at that, though. They need you, people like you. Like, you'd be so good at that. That one sticks out because his tail too fat. Still too fat here. And if this dragon were going to be bigger on screen, I would absolutely be inking this in Clip Studio and not in Photoshop. But since he's going to be very small on the screen, like maybe that big, I'm not worried too much about my line quality. Okay? So really, you got to dial your caring depending on what you're doing, right? It's a way to prioritize your time well. Oh no. Legal, try not to get scared. It's okay. No matter what happens, you're gonna be okay. Okay? Believe us. You're gonna be alright. I mean, we have some lying around. Speaking of that, I actually wanted to show you guys something. I don't know if I've shown this before. What?
Sniggle's mom.
What does your mom want with it, dude?
She's gonna make badass dragon art because she plays WoW, remember?
Oh, yeah.
Sniggle, you should totally invite your mom to Journey June next year.
Oh, it's right here. So I've been carrying something around with me since I was 13. And I want to show you guys what this looks like. This was the first drawing tablet I ever knew to really exist, at least for commercial use. It's called a Pablo. Okay? So I've been carrying this around because I think it's so interesting. This is my first drawing tablet. Okay? The pen was connected with a wire. This was the pen. Okay? It even had like this tracing thing that lifts up. God knows why. I have no idea why. But I used this when I was 13. Okay? I was using Photoshop 2. Okay? When it was called Photo Deluxe. It wasn't even called Photoshop yet. It was called Adobe Photo Deluxe. And I used this. Okay? This is my nerd cred right now. And all it did is just hook up via, luckily, a USB, but it was a monitor cord to a USB. But I used the hell out of it. But yeah, I got this when I was very young. So, but I was already used to traditional too. So I never stopped doing traditional, even when I had that, which you should never do either. Don't just go 100% one way or the other, because it's really going to do you bad in the future. But yeah, anyway. Do I still have it? Some of it I do. Gabe and I were going through some stuff recently, and I found a bunch of it. I'll probably show you on Tuesday, okay? Because I gotta find it, and not only that, but I've got my digital set up right now. I'd want to show you on paper, because a lot of my old digital paintings I actually have printed out. I don't have them on file anymore, so yeah, I'll try on Tuesday to find some for you, Eliza. I think that'd be cute. I'll just get a bunch of my art regardless to show you guys. Kicked butt. I was 13. No one kicks butt at 13. I appreciate that, AJ, but no. But if I can give it any sort of credit, it got me, or helped further how much I liked tech. Because I've always been extremely tech savvy, and that's why I know Unity, that's why I went into 3D, I know a lot of that stuff, game dev, all that stuff. I could even code partially. Like, I love tech, and I always have. Like, I sacrificed summer after summer being in an air-conditioned house alone. I was that kid, okay? But I was a girl, too, so at the time it was very unpopular, and every time I was like, hey, I can fix your computer, the guys are like, no, you can't. What do you mean? You don't even use computers. I was like, yeah, I do. Yes, I do. And I will fix your computer. Because apparently you don't know what you're doing.
Way.
Yeah, excuse me. But yeah, because of that. Oh, wow, that one's old too. Sniggle, nice. I got my car. Do you know what that means? You can drive?
Oh, Sniggle, they used to put that, you could peel that up because you could, I had that one too. You could put pictures under it.
Yokai, do you want me to talk about the 12 principles? I mean, do you really want me to go through them? Because it sounds like you already know them by even saying that. But even though I took animation and I have a degree in animation, it's been years since I actually, like, had a class on it. And I know majority of the principles, like squash and stretch, the bouncing ball thing, and staging. But I'm gonna look it up just so I can kind of go through it. But really, like, when you're doing small things like this, really quickly, you can make a good animation with like 6 frames. Okay, if you're making like a little GIF, you can do it in 6 frames. So I think that the 12 principles are good to know, and I think you should look at them, should know them, should see what they mean. A lot of the time you'll end up doing them regardless. So, I mean, you can look them up, but let's say you have, let's even do the bouncing ball, because everybody knows the bouncing ball, right? So, if this is our ground, let's say, right? And we've got a ball here. Let's actually put it at the top. So, what you usually want to do is do the keyframes, right? First one, middle one, and then the last one is going to be the exact same first one, okay? So immediately we have 1, 2, 3, okay? Then what you do is you go back and you do in-betweens in between those. And usually the squash and stretch comes when there's impact. And I usually do this where you put the anchor at the bottom and then do this sort of thing. And then as it's falling, depending on its makeup, like if it's rubber or something, how heavy it is, all that sort of stuff, you can play with that. But if it's a little bit heavier, let's say, and it's a little bottom heavy, we'll do this, okay? And then it's gonna hit, and then it's gonna go back up. And when it goes back up, it's kind of gonna do the same thing that this one does. But they always slow down at the top, right? So because of that, we're gonna try this. Okay? So, oops. Oh, I think that was the wrong one. Yeah, that one. This one. This one. Back to this one. Okay, so that's really fast, obviously. But when you're just making GIFs for stuff, they don't have to be perfect, right? This is the nice thing about GIFs nowadays, right? And if I wanted it to stay down here longer, all I would do is add another frame here, or increase the time here that I've got. But you can make it sit there and stretch longer if you want to. Or maybe it's already stretching a lot and I want it to do this impact more and take more time there, right? So let's keep that, make a new one, and then make that one a little bit. So then we've got impact, then squash, then it comes up again. That makes sense. So now the funny thing about Photoshop is if you add a animation frame in, it's going to add it everywhere basically. See, and you can even play with these and this is the nice thing about Photoshop is it makes it really easy to do animation. So if you're making a really good animation though, you're not going to want to use Photoshop. I would suggest After Effects. A really old animation I did, if anybody wants to look at it, is, I'll find it for you. Okay, so this is something I did a long time ago. The timing's off, it's not very good, but it's one of the better things I've done. And then if anybody wants to see any cute little GIFs I've made, I had a Tumblr that I was putting all of my GIFs that I made on. And I've even got a Pokemon fan art GIF in there. Whoa! It is the 1st of July, it's true. So this does have the slow in and out to it too. So depending on gravity, it's going to speed up or slow down depending on what it's doing, how heavy it is, stuff like that. Yeah, we can't really talk about a lot of the principles because I don't have staging with a lot of this. So won't really go there. I'd say if I had to pick one of them though, that was the most important one, it'd be squash and stretch. You can do so much with squash and stretch that it doesn't even matter for a lot of the other ones, really. Obviously, timing's really important, but I mean, if you can do really good squash and stretch, that's what matters. I'll even add one here of this one again. This one seems like it's got a mind of its own. So that's because as it's falling, it's not falling fast. So that makes it appear like it's jumping instead of falling, which that's a problem if it's not animate. Yeah, see how it pauses? That's part of it. So you can have a very simple animation, but still have it look wrong. But for a lot of those ones on my website with the Sugarloaf GIF, each one of those is like 6 frames. Actually, I'll see if I can find one. So you can see. Okay, so I even started a shroomish. Cute. So yeah, okay, this one. Let's see. So this was my bulldog. So I have a couple folders here. One is one side, the other is the other side. And for the background, since they don't move, I didn't animate those. But this is 4 frames. That's it. And as long as you make sure the end of your animation comes down to meet the beginning, it can loop. Right? So you can do a lot with just a couple frames. And this is how majority of GIFs are made and stuff like that. Remember, this stream was not about making something like Disney, okay? This is about doing the bare minimum animation-wise. So, thank you, Faith. That one was more of a challenge, I guess, for me. I wanted to give myself more than 4 frames, but it's okay, AJ. So I just want you guys to see here, you don't need a lot of frames to make something work, okay? As long as you're making a loop and you can bring it back to the beginning, you know. Gabe, you can talk.
Yeah, I can't because you're talking.
Well, yeah, but they're asking you questions.
No, I know, but that's why I'm responding to you. Well, they were legal put a picture in the Discord. Legal, yeah. I mean, it's technically well done, I guess you could say. But I guess that would be yeah, technically is well done. But yeah, I don't know. Do you have more? I guess that's the question. Because I see a lot of people, like they'll do one of those pieces in like a year. So I mean, how often have you? What's the word? How often do you draw? How often do you do pieces like that? In terms of like being, like I know Gus and AJ were talking about.
Visual dev?
Yeah, like a visual dev artist. People who are visual dev artists are insane, like probably mentally. They can, like, they don't do a lot of. I mean, once in a while you see them pulling up reference and stuff, but a lot of the stuff that they do, man, it's like in their head. Like their visual library is expansive. And the way that they
explain to him what a visual library is.
So a visual library is just things that you have either drawn before or you know how to draw them because you've seen them so often.
You've researched enough.
Yeah, you've researched enough. You just sort of remember, like, I know what a fan looks like. I know what a broom looks like, you know, like, and then you could just draw it, you know, like that. Because either you've drawn it a bunch of times or, again, because you can visualize it very easily and you know the fundamentals of what a stick looks like or what, you know, like a bundle of bristles looks like, and then you just put them together.
I'm sorry, what are bristles?
Bristles, the bristles on a broom. I'm thinking like
a hairbrush.
Yeah, like a cheap broom from Walmart. You know, like nylon bristles. You know.
Okay.
I'm not thinking of like a witch's broom.
Okay. I'm giving you crap.
So now, Legal, are you? Is that?
Bye, Faith.
Bye, Faith.
Yeah, have fun with your pup.
Yeah. Legal, is that something that you're looking at to produce? Like, are you referencing like an actual photo of a dog, or are you just drawing that?
Paladin, are you here?
Mr. Crane, that would work too. But is there any life in your art, Mr. Robot? So, like, I think we get a lot of people who say, I want to be a concept artist. And I think a lot of times, actually, what they really want to be is a visual dev artist.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
see that.
because I think usually actually being a concept artist just means that you are a visual dev artist. Like, that's like the entire title, and really the concept portion is just a sliver of what it is that you actually do all day.
Hey, Ushi.
Ushi. But yeah, man, to be a visual dev artist, like, you gotta. I wouldn't even attempt to apply to one of those jobs. Like, I mean, I think I can draw a bunch of stuff, but I can't draw like a quarter of what those people can conjure up. It's they're maniacs.
All right, Paladin, do you have a? I was gonna make the dragon red. Is that okay?
Serenity wants to know what program you're using right now.
Just Photoshop. I wanted to show you guys an easy way to do animations, so if you wanted to just start screwing around with it that you could, that you don't need to get any special expensive programs or anything like that. Photoshop, if you get the photography suite, it's only $10 a month to use Photoshop. And I mean, you can afford that usually. So in Photoshop, if you go up to Window, there's a timeline here. That's the animation timeline. And sometimes when you use it, it's going to be on this other, here, I'll show you real quick. I'll close this and I'll reopen it. Usually when you start, don't get scared because it's going to have a different thing up. Okay, it's going to have probably this, create frame animation. Just press that, okay? Because if you don't have timeline up, it usually looks like this. You hit timeline, it comes up, then just say create frame animation, and you'll get to what I was working on. Then, what I would suggest is doing 4 to 6 frames and have the first one be the beginning of the animation, the middle one be the middle, which is a keyframe, okay? Keyframes first, the main action. So, you know, if they're hitting a ball, it'd be either, you know, they've got the bat, and then the middle one would be them connecting with it, and then maybe they're swinging the bat back to get to the beginning frame again. So, if you're making a loop, that is. Alright, this is specifically a stream about really cheap, stupid little GIFs made in Photoshop, no big time program like After Effects or anything like that. So at the beginning frame, you want it to be the start of the animation. Middle of the frame, you want, or the middle of the animation, you want to be kind of where the end is, really. So hitting the ball, and then the rest of the animation, which is about equal to the beginning of the animation, you want it to come back to that first frame, okay? So like I did with this dragon that I'm doing for Paladin, it's a little bit different because with a tail, you have follow-through action, which you don't normally have when you're doing a regular anything else, right? So let's say this is the tail, okay? So you've got the tail here and it swings, right? And then it curves up and it swings back down, right? And then it curves up and it swings back down again, right? So I can't just do this and then just reverse it. That's not gonna look right. So for me, I have to do from here to here, and that's the middle, and then I have to work back to the beginning of it again by changing the tail. Hopefully that makes sense. Let me know if you have questions about that. But I would say if you're starting off, fewer frames the better when it comes to having a smooth animation. I know that sounds counterintuitive, but it's absolutely true. When I used to use After Effects every day for my job, usually the more frames you have in there, more keyframes, or think of it more like there's more of a chance that something will go wrong. So if you animate something not quite right, it'll stick out like a sore thumb. Like, I'm sure some of you saw that I had this whole thing earlier filled up, right? And I started deleting frames. That's because there were certain frames that stuck out that didn't fit. So example, where are we here? Over there. And then, yeah, okay. So I had a frame earlier, and these still aren't the best, but they do the job right now. So I had one in here that was basically this, where it was a little too long. And this is what I consider the harder part of animation, is keeping consistency. So if I were, let's say, let's do that and then go here, and then yeah. Okay, so if I had drawn this tail this long here, it would be really out of place because the tail is not that long. You have to keep that consistency throughout. Got you. Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry, guy. So that becomes one of the harder things with animation, is to keep that consistency throughout. At least that was one of my hardest things. Especially when I was animating a fish, 2D. Keeping that tail right, man. Oh, legal. You're gonna have to understand the difference between someone critiquing your work and someone that's just blatantly harassing it. Usually, if someone says, "Oh, this is bad," or "Man, you really suck at art," or "Why do you even try it?" Like, if they're attacking your person or saying something mean about your piece without telling you why, that's just abuse. They're just being really mean. That's not critique. Ignore what they're saying, okay? But the fact that Gabe here was saying, you know, it needs more depth, technically it's good, you know, he should probably have said more good things on top of that too. I believe in the sandwich technique, but regardless, he's telling you technical reasons. Like, that's a critique. When somebody says, well, you need more shading here, the lighting's a little off for this reason, it'd be good if you actually had more definition in this area, maybe pull back on the detail over here. All those are like actual critiques, right? If anybody ever attacks you as an artist or your piece without giving you potential fixes, they're not helping. And that's not a good critique, and I would ignore what they're saying.
I think also when I say technically good, I hope that doesn't come off as like saying like, well, they technically did all right. That's not what I mean. I mean that your technical skill to be able to pull off the, you know, like the fur, you know, and the getting the shape of the head to look correct, like it's a technically good piece. It is missing some fundamentals where, you know, like it doesn't have any depth, so there's no shadow to like sort of make the snout.
Shading?
Yeah, like shading. So like the snout, you know, is a bit flat. The head in itself is a bit flat, which are things that you're gonna like figure out as you do it.
Like, so, AJ gave you good critique.
Yeah.
That was a good critique. Yeah, beginning stages are great. You're doing wonderfully.
Yeah.
Seriously, good for you. We're very proud of you.
But also, just because somebody doesn't like the piece that you think you've done the best on, like, don't get upset about it.
Oh, that's another thing, yeah.
Like,
you're gonna run into, like, let's say me drawing the dragon right now. Someone comes in and they're like, I don't like dragons. It's like, okay, I'm still gonna draw it. I like dragons. Don't ever be ashamed of something that you're doing because you want to do it. Do it regardless. If you want to always just draw something, just do it. Just know when you're doing it too much and that you should once in a while experiment, try something new, get out of your comfort zone, but don't let someone put down what you like, regardless if it's even art or otherwise, you know? Like what you like.
And honestly, like, a lot of times I like people's sketches more than I like rendered out things.
Oh.
Like,
here's another problem. The fact that you wanted us to react a certain way, don't try to have expectations. One thing I can teach you is that when you post something online or you do anything, put it up there and walk away, okay? Every single different person out of billions of people on the earth are going to take what you've just drawn in a different way. You have no control over that. The only control you have is how you think of what you did. Okay? So if you're proud of it, awesome. Other people might hate it. If you hate it, other people might love it. You have no control over any of that, right? So when you do put those things up on the internet, make sure that you realize that, and it's going to be taken however it's taken, and that the only thing you can do is keep doing what you're doing, you know, and liking what you like and doing what you do, because the things that you put up there, people are going to follow you for those things, okay? So if you put up stuff you don't want to do and people follow you, you're going to be kind of in this weird area where you're going to be doing things you don't want to do because these people want to see them. So don't ever do things you don't want to do. Always be doing art you want to do, because then you'll always be happy. And you can't please everyone, all right? You just can't. There's no way. So try not to have expectation.
and especially from people that you admire. Like, don't try to get away from that, because I mean, you know.
I'm very honored though that you put us that high up, you know, and we're gonna be tougher on you then because you covet, you know, what we think. But also, I think you did a fantastic job with your color.
Yeah.
Like, as a person that does animal art, you've done phenomenal.
So
okay.
Here's one thing. Like, I can't say much to this because I can't do that. Like,
Gabe can't do what you did.
No, I can't do what you did. Like, I mean, I could try really hard and maybe I could do it, but honestly, like, I don't want to, ever, because that looks like a lot of work, which is, like, good for you. But also, like, I don't know how the hell you did any of that. Like, I don't get it.
And John's right. Expectations turn into entitlements way too easily. That's a really good statement.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So, I mean, it's good just to, honestly, in this day and age, it is kind of good to be more selfish and just think about, okay, well, I like to do this, and I'm just going to post this, so if other people don't like it, whatever, this is what I want to do. I hate to say that's more of a selfish age, but that kind of selfishness is good, where I think, like, you know, putting up selfies and stuff is kind of bad.
Yeah.
You know, that's different. But, John's studio. Oh, Sniggle, cute. Yeah, AJ's right. If you're into art, you're in it for the long run. It's scary, but it's also exciting. It's a place for learning and growth, and sometimes hamsters. Sometimes? You mean all the time, bruh. All the time. Hamster reveal. Don't hide it, yeah. One of the things that we've been preaching for years now is to actually document your growth. So, if you're just starting out on Instagram or anything like that, make sure you're posting your journey. My entire marker journey, from the minute I picked up a marker and said, I'm going to try to get good at this, to the point I'm at now, all on Instagram. And it's a total teaching tool. Like, if you look back at the beginning of my Instagram, it's all like crap. And that's okay. And I'm proud of it. That's the other thing. You document this journey, and you'll be proud that it's out there. You've proven your growth. Literally. Okay? I know it seems hard at the time when you're first starting off. You can't see the end of that. But just have faith in yourself that you will get better. And eventually, even in just a couple months or a year, you can flip through your Instagram, just scroll down it, and see actual improvement. And it's pretty magical, honestly, as long as you're doing it consistently. You know, so the minute you do something, throw it up there. Don't care about likes and follows. Just throw it up there and basically walk away till your next piece that you put up. Then maybe answer a couple comments or whatever and, you know, get out. Delete the spam comments and delete the bad negative comments. They're not helping anybody, you know, because you're going to get those people who are like, hey, nice pic, follow me. No, delete. I don't want that on my profile. Delete it. Anything like that, you don't need that there. Yeah, Sniggle's right. It's true. If you look at my Instagram too, that sounded so douchey. My Instagram, the biggest thing I had to fight during Journey June for people was that everyone was like, oh, I don't want my rough sketches or my work in progresses to be on my Instagram. Your Instagram is alive, okay? A portfolio site is dead and where you should be catering all your stuff. If you want your Instagram to be this frozen gallery, that's not what it's for. Instagram is meant for posts to get buried. Instagram is meant to be updated all the time. If you're not doing that, you're not using the platform correctly. If you want to use it like, you know, a frozen portfolio site, whatever, get a different Instagram for that, okay? It should be alive. So people were really scared that, here, I'll show you. I'll turn it down a bit. They're really scared that their Instagram is going to get muddied up or look ugly. I've got 5,700 followers, and I didn't care if they unfollowed me because all my posts look like this. And then you get one like this, and it's like, oh, wait, okay. and then you keep going, and then eventually you get to all their good stuff, right? I feel like the people that follow you for this stuff earn the other stuff, right? Because they can see that. But your Instagram should be whatever you want it to be. Don't be afraid of it being alive and changing and having different styles. It's where you're proving your art. It's where you're proving that you're an artist that keeps creating. Your portfolio site is where you cater your best work, ideally just a few pieces. For any portfolio you're making, under 10. Like, seriously, don't go crazy, because it's quality over quantity there. On your Instagram, it's quantity over quality, okay? Remember that. Because really, your Instagram is proving to people. And I'm saying this because I used to hire people at a game company, okay? I would look at their Instagram, and if it showed, if their like most recent showed it was months ago, that worried me. That showed me they weren't creating, okay? I've got your domain, to go look at your actual portfolio. Like for me, Cloverkin.com. You want to see like some finished pieces I've done? Go there. Screw it, whatever. I don't care. But if you want to see what I'm doing like all the time, go on my Instagram. Your Instagram should prove you're doing stuff. Your portfolio should show your best stuff that you've chosen out of doing all this stuff. Does that make sense? So, anyway. Sorry, rant. Because if you are always updating it, it's going to get better. And then you're going to reach a point where, I'm not going to say for sure every post is good, but every post is solid. It's a good post. And you're going to reach a point where it's like, they're going to be good and bad posts to you, but to other people, they're going to be like, oh, these are great. I'm going to follow you for these. And it's like, these are just my roughs. Cool, right? Cool.
Yeah, like that's the point, is like you'll get a beginner artist that'll look at what you think is a really rough drawing and like, whoa, this is like the coolest thing. Like all of my Journey June posts, like that's really rough for me. For me, it's really rough. But to someone else, they're like, whoa, this guy, I want to be this guy, and I'm not like trying to like gas myself up or anything, but maybe there is that person out there that thinks like that.
Absolutely. But remember, no matter what, anything I can tell you, you do art for you. Never be doing something that's popular that you don't want to do. Okay? If you find yourself in that position, that's not a good art mentality. That's not what art's about. Art's about expressing yourself and what you want to do. And if you start doing something that's popular and deep down you don't want to do it, you're going to get follows and stuff from people that you don't care about. They don't really care about your art. They care about what you did and not what you're doing, and what you want to do. But Legal, since you're so young still in your art journey and, just in life, do whatever you want to do right now, because every little bit of practice is going to be practice still, right? You'll be able to whittle that down as you get older. Right now, for you, the most important thing is experimentation. Really, figuring out what you like to do, what you don't like to do. Both are equally important. So, honestly, do as much as you can. Like, draw rocks, draw cars, draw planes, draw boats, draw environments, draw people, draw animals. Draw whatever you want. Paint things. Use, weird mediums and stuff. Sculpt sometimes to get your head around something else. Do everything you can. Whatever you feel like doing, go do it. That's going to be important later on.
Like 100% draw whatever you want to draw. Like, if that's what you're asking us what you should be drawing,
whatever you
as
want.
practice, whatever you want.
Yep.
Think of it in terms of like, imagine if you went to high school and they were like, what do you want to learn? They asked you, what do you want to learn? Yo, I'm going to learn whatever I want to learn.
Those are the best schools, the ones
Yeah.
that say, what do you want to know? And then your whole curriculum is based off that. Back to what Mage said, the fail faster, game dev mantra, it's not only game dev, it's just life.
Mm-hmm.
Life in general. If you're doing anything, do more things for the potential to fail, because failure is not a negative. It's not. Failure is the best thing you can do, because it's going to help you understand what's wrong. In a lot of cultures, failure is not a bad thing. Failure is understanding how to succeed. Does that make sense? the more you can fail, the better. And in art, we're taking over the 10,000 drawings idea from the 10,000 hours. If you've heard this, for mastering something, get out 10,000 drawings. It's going to take a while, but once you get them out, think about, Gabe's always put it this way, get out the crap before you can get to the good stuff. And that might be daily, that might be over years, right? Every day you might have to draw a little bit, right? Get out the warm-ups, whatever you need to do, and then you'll start doing better stuff. And that might be a bigger journey where you're doing crap for months and then suddenly you're doing something great. That's just the art journey, man. Draw what you eat, eat what you draw.
Whole bunch of robots.
If you like doggos, legal, draw some dogs. Do it. Hi, wait, see.
Wait.
Oh no! Legal doesn't get food.com? That
What?
sounds awful. Why?
Wow. What?
That's weird. I guess England doesn't want you to have food.com, I guess. Very strange.
But you know what, Legal? If you're gonna draw dogs, draw dogs. Don't just draw the heads. Don't just draw their eyes or the snout. Draw.
Explore the dog.
Yeah. Draw different breeds. Draw them in different positions.
Because I'll tell you what, after drawing 200 animal commissions of various kinds, I can tell you the hardest dog that I've had to draw in this, like, I've drawn tegus, which are lizards. I've drawn lots of lizards. I've drawn snakes, cats, quails, hamsters, gerbils, all kinds of stuff, right? The hardest animal I've actually had to draw is greyhounds. Greyhounds are one of my hardest dogs to draw, just because they have no real definition. So that might be easier for other people, but when I learned to draw animals, I did it by primitives, right? Here, I'll even show you. And usually this is a good way to learn how to draw. You draw, primitives in any expanse, right? So here we've got, like, let's say this was the head, right? And then this is where the snout starts, this is where the snout ends. You draw to there, kind of have this thing going on, then there's the nose, come down here, here's the mouth, eyes up here somewhere, right? You use primitives, and like the ears are triangles, stuff like that, you know? But the thing with greyhounds is they don't have very defined primitives like that. They are just this sleek amalgam of flesh and bone, and it's really hard to draw them at different angles. Really, really tough. So definitely try a greyhound once in a while. When you start getting cocky about, yeah, I'm doing animals, I'm doing them real good, throw yourself into a greyhound. It's tough.
You know what? Also, like, I know that piece that you did that you showed us. I want to see you drawing dogs. Drawing a dog, not fully rendered out things. Like, you can do that now. Like, you know how to do that, you know. But can you just draw a plain dog, like, just not without rendering, just line art? That, I think, is the most important thing to learn as an artist. Is just to draw a basic shape, just basic outline of an animal. Like, sort of like Ashley's doing right now. She doesn't have like thousands of scales on there, right? It's just the basic outline, so you can see the representation of a dragon.
Yeah.
But she's not going in and adding, like I said, scales and horns and lighting and all, stuff like that.
It's also part of the style, but it is important, like Gabe's saying, to understand how that is too.
For two reasons. One, you'll understand the form, the shape of the thing that you're drawing, whether it's a person, a place, object, whatever, right?
Thing or idea.
Or an idea, sure. But you'll learn the form of it, but also you can do it a lot quicker. And the more of these that you can pump out, the better. So you're gonna get out that, like if you drew 10,000 corgis right now, between this summer, draw 10,000 corgis, you are going to be the master of drawing corgis. And then guess what? You apply that fur knowledge that you already got when you did that colored pencil piece. I think it was colored pencil. To a more refined thing, and you'll see, all right, the corgi shape, is like this, and it's got to go down like that, and then you just apply a little bit more shade in the bottom area, and boom, then you've got a really badass corgi.
Legal, why you want to mope? Don't mope. One of my favorite quotes was, "Wake up and stop shaking because you're just wasting time."
Mm-hmm.
And it's a Manson quote. But it's true, because just crying over something or just being like, oh, why am I not better, that's not going to get you better. It is kind of a hard way of looking at something. And sometimes, yes, it's okay to cry about stuff. Absolutely. But not when you have control of your situation. When you have control of your situation, there's no reason to cry because you can fix it, right? You're in control of it, so go fix it. So don't mope. You can do it. There's no reason you can't. You can do it. Aw, that's nice, man.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
It'd be cool if it was your neighbor or something and you could give them the sketch when you're done. That'd be cool.
We don't talk about Jurassic World here. It doesn't exist.
None of this is magic. Snaggle, what are you talking about? Who's a witch wizard? Who did a what? What? I'm so confused. As an avid moper, I endorse moping. Oh, Ushi. I mean, I guess some people do that.
I think my biggest problem with this, I guess the internet society is that like, everyone is constantly like saying like, I feel down, and then you get like this big rush of like 40 people being like, oh hey, what's wrong? Hey, feel good about yourself. We're like, no, stop. You're rewarding that behavior.
Yeah. Oh, that's the best way to put it.
Don't reward.
That's why
that
we
behavior.
don't endorse coddling.
Yeah.
You're rewarding it. So when people think we're too tough, I'm gonna actually stand by this. Earlier I got kind of pissed off about this, but I'm still pissed off. But there's no point in coddling. There's a difference between coddling and being sensitive. Mm-hmm. Gabe and I will be sensitive to your needs. If you're sad about something, okay, we're compassionate. We care about the fact you're upset. But, as we were saying, if it's in your means to fix it, coddling's not going to help you. Okay? Seriously. Ashley's always pissed off. I'm like the Hulk. I mean, what's his secret? He's always mad, right? I mean, really, it's stressful being me. I don't know if you could tell, but yeah.
It's just like, I get it. Like you say something to get reaction from people, then that makes you feel good.
That's the problem with the internet, yeah.
You post a selfie, and you say, I feel a little bit.
Yeah, I don't look so good today.
Yeah, I don't know about this shirt. What do you guys think? Do my boobs look good in it?
Actually, think about whenever you post a picture, like a drawing. This is why we tell you don't self-deprecate, okay? The best thing you can do if you're feeling really down about a piece and you're going to post it and you want to say, not one of my best, don't say anything. It's way better, okay? Just post hashtags, all right? If you can't say something nice, don't say it at all, because it's going to make you look bad, all right? Like to Gabe and I, if we go onto someone's account, look at one of their pictures and we're like, oh, this is good, we like this, and then we see what you wrote about it, and if you didn't like it, we're not going to like your personality, aka we won't like your art.
I'm following you.
So don't self-deprecate, because it also talks about your confidence. If anything, talk about what you learned from it or something like that. Turn a negative into a positive, all right? If you don't like it, like let's say, Paladin, this isn't true, but let's say I didn't like this dragon, okay? If I was going to post this online and be like, well, I learned a lot from this piece. I wish I would have put some more scales on the tail, blah, blah, blah. But for now, this is a good step in my growth, right? Be super cold and calculated about it, right? Turn your emotion off if you can. Because you don't want to be that girl that's putting up the picture and being like, man, I'm not feeling good about myself today. And people are like, oh no, baby, you're beautiful. Blah, 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 blah. Get out of here. Get out of here. Yeah, don't do it, legal. We say self-deprecation is self-defecation. You're shitting on yourself in front of people. Don't do it. It's embarrassing, and it's going to lower your confidence. It's a really bad habit. Just never do it. If somebody gives you a compliment on your art, do not say, oh, well, I don't like it because blah, blah. Just say thank you. If you find yourself almost saying something negative about it, don't. Catch yourself and just say, thanks so much. It's going to make you look 1,000,000 times better than it would.
I think the biggest problem with that is that you get used to that. You get used to the feeling of people saying like, oh, hey, don't worry about it. You'll do better next time. Then you start to crave that,
It's acclamation.
Like, yeah.
And you get okay with doing bad things. They're enablers.
Yeah.
Okay? It's a bad thing. Yeah, AJ, I'm doing this actually for Paladin's overlay. I do people's overlays for them. So this was his bit jar. I can show you his full thing here in a minute. But I just did a couple things for him. I did his face cam, his bit jar, and some like divider things. But he got my Twitch mentorship, and then on top of that, I have an option where I can design your stuff for you. So I did his bumper screen here, and then I've got this other stuff I did. So if anybody wants to see all that in action, you can always go over to his stream.
I consider everyone a friend immediately.
Hi, D-Pad.
Until you do something stupid or threaten me or something, whatever. But
Legal, why do you feel burnt out? Do you feel burnt out from art or just life? Because it sounds like you seem a bit more not overwhelmed with art, but overwhelmed with the fact you're reaching a new point in your life, which is totally normal. Mm-hmm. You're allowed to feel that. That is absolutely okay.
It seems like you're going to university like in the fall, right? So like you just ended like 4 years of like non-stop bull, like just having to learn dumb things you don't want to learn over and over and over again. Like how many times did we take I guess they must have British history, because we have U.S. history classes, but I swear to God, every year you learn about World War II. Every year they tell you.
I mean, really, yeah.
Which is like, all right, guys. Like, I've got movies. I watch the movies all the time now. I don't need to know about these things.
Yeah.
Legal. You know what? If what I'm saying is true, like, you just graduated high school. I don't know. Do they have high school in England, or is it like, I know in Mexico it's called secondary school, but I mean, if you just graduated, take a break. Like, that's 4 years. You've been in school for like 18 years. Well, not 18, but like.
I disagree with him.
No, just in the summer. Take a week off.
Okay, yeah, taking a week off is fine.
But like,
I'm one of those people that really is a firm believer in not taking a year off after high school. I know I'm a jerk for that, but I myself like went straight into college, and it put me ahead of other people, as well as I was already in the mindset of actually going, into a school again, right? You have the end of high school, then you have summer, and then you have college starts, right? And it's like 3 months in between. You're still in that, the momentum, right? You've built up the momentum. You're still in the mindset of learning. If you take a year off, that's going to get broken. You're going to get used to sleeping in, or you're going to get a job, and then once you get a job, then you're not going to get able to like break away from it and go into college and stuff. Too much is going to happen where you may not be able to go back.
That's what happened to me.
That's what happened to Gabe. Gabe, when did you go to college?
I was 26
I was out of college at 23. No, 18 to 19, 19 to 20, 21. I was 21. So I was already in the workforce for 5 years when you went to college.
But now my problem was that obviously I couldn't go to college because I didn't have the means to. So yeah, that part sucked.
But yeah, legal. Take a break. If you need a break, take a break. Just make sure it's not too long. If you know, because too many people fall into bad habits when they're given too much freedom. So I feel like that's a big deal. But definitely now.
I think in my situation though, like the only reason that like when I went back, I was very enthusiastic about going back. Whereas everyone else around me...
That's because you were an adult.
Yeah, it's because I was an adult. And everyone else around me was like 18 and they...
It drove him nuts.
Yeah, they had already been through all this crap. And really the only people that made it out successful were the ones that already had that personality of I'm gonna do this, and then they actually did it. You know, like my buddy Gene works at Nickelodeon, like he is a background illustrator, right? He wanted it, and he worked his ass off on it. He animated constantly.
He's the guy.
Yeah, and everyone else who wanted to be an animator, and we used to sit around and be like, we have the same conversation. This is 10 years ago. Same conversation. These kids want to be animators. They don't animate.
Yeah.
Oh, John over there wants to be a concept designer. Doesn't concept anything. He doesn't even think of things. He just sits in the lunchroom playing Smash Bros on the 64. Like, that's it. Like, they don't, you know, like, if you want to be something, do it.
What he said.
Can't be a bridge builder if you don't make any bridges, son.
Oh, thank you, Snaggle. I was bitter and twisted, as she said.
No, Legal, I want to see what you got now. I don't care about what you're going to make later. I want to know what you got now. Artist statement.
I wonder if that's because of other reasons, though, Crane. Like, that might have been something that was even out of your power. Legal, I don't know you even mean by artist statement. What is that?
Yeah.
Maybe that's saying what you plan to do with your art. I think that's what that would mean. Yeah, it's like, what do you want to do with an artist? I want to improve the lives of so many people and do this thing and blah, 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 blah.
Who do you have to show art to? And what's this group? Is it just like an internet group, or you gotta like, is this for school?
Yeah, who's they? They asked you for one. Who's they? College?
I think I've had to do an artist statement before, and I said something to the effect of, I just like drawing cool things, and that was it.
That's legit.
And that's all you gotta say. And if people give you shit about it, then you tell them, well, this is my artist statement. It's my statement, man. You can't tell me how I feel.
Preach. Word. Say it, Gabe. Say it.
Oh, so your grandma, she does oil? That's awesome. That's pretty cool.
Dude, I'll be honest, I've never done oil. It's the only thing I've, like, never done.
Alright, but Legal, I don't want to insult your grandma, but is your grandma good at oil? How long has she been doing it?
Well,
I mean, that's not really relative, but is she... Do you think she's good? Does she have an Instagram? Can we follow your grandma on Instagram?
I follow your grandmas. I follow all your grandmas.
And now they want you on the website. What website?
What's happening right now? Do we even know?
Legal, you're going to have to give us a little more. Unless you don't want to give us a little more. Otherwise, we can't really talk.
What's
I don't know.
happening
Word salad.
Oh, you don't have to do that if you don't want to. If you're stressed out and you need a bath or something, or like spa day, legal, take it.
Yeah, tell Grandma to chill for a minute.
And Ross, thank you for the bit. Welcome. Do you want to be invited to events? Like, do you want it? Just because someone tells you something doesn't mean you have to do it either.
Also,
one of the things I learned real quick is that I don't have to do anything I don't want to do. I learned that when I turned 30. Don't be me. If you really don't want to do something, don't do it.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, if you don't want to be joining like the fine artists of, of
blah blah blah.
Yeah, of British whatever. This sounds like a group of people that all they do is oil paint and.
Yeah, you said earlier you don't even want to paint with real paints, which you're gonna have to at some point, but doing it in your free time is just gonna stress you out. Remember what we said about don't do things that are popular or you don't want to do? If you don't want to do it, don't waste your time doing it, because you could be putting your time towards other things that are way more important for you, which is the most important thing. Because remember, if everybody else in the world left you, you'd still be left with you. So make sure you're happy with you. Okay? And I'll be honest, that's one of the things I'm most proud of. If everyone I know left me, I'd be more than fine. And I am totally cool with that. Just make sure you would be, Like, you'd be able to be happy with where you're at with stuff. Things like that.
I would hope that Grandma understands that, in her age, like, hopefully she understands, Grandma, I'm going to do what I want to do.
Well, yeah, actually, it might like, be good for you to stand up to her and be like, Grandma, I'm at an age where I need to experiment with a lot of stuff. I don't want to just focus all my time into this one thing. I'd really like to take this summer to try various mediums. Use that word. She'll be like, what? Yeah. That's crazy your grandma has an Instagram, by the way. That's awesome.
She does. Awesome.
Okay, so your grandma is super fine art. Okay? That's fine art.
Oh, yeah.
If she's in a gallery, she's fine art. Gabe and I don't even do gallery work. We're not gallery artists. If you're not a gallery artist, you don't have to be. You don't have to be a gallery artist. You don't have to be a comic artist. You don't have to be an illustrator. You don't have to be anything you don't want to be. So just find what you do want to be, right? Yeah, Sniggle, no. No. Especially how you talk about your brother, no. Don't do that. Get out of there! What are you doing? Sniggle.
What the
Oh, Mary, thank you for the follow!
What?
I enjoyed your Germany June so much. You did so good. I love it. Your style is so cute. I love it. Sorry, I just wanted to mention that. She's pushy, but it's because she cares. You might be in a tougher position, too, because she's an artist. And you want to be an artist. So she might try to impose what she likes art-wise onto you. You have to be a little bit firm and say, I have to find what works for me. Okay? That's going to be probably your journey. You're going to have to stand up to her at some point and be like, okay, Grandma, I'll try what you want me to try for a little bit, but you have to understand that I want to try a lot of things, Sniggle! Sooner! Sooner! Yeah, Crane! That's perfect. Well stated. Well stated. People can care about you, but the ones that really care know that you'll figure out what's best for you. They shouldn't be pushing themselves onto you. Instagram, Liza said.
Yeah, this whatever you were talking about, those UK art things seems like that's not what you want to do.
Yeah, especially if you're dreading it, you're not excited for it. You're dreading it, Barry, I'm so glad. Keep working on it. I want to buy it. Okay, keep going. Finish it.
Like doing landscapes and stuff. Like, I like doing those things, but Man, if you don't like doing that stuff, don't give into it.
It's great she supports you and, you know, wants to pimp your work, but make sure she also respects what you want to do.
Mhm.
You know? We're not going to bully your grandma. Oh my god, why would we
Oh
do
yeah,
that?
no.
No, we
I'm
just
not
want to
even-
make sure that,
Yeah.
you know, as artists, grandma family relation aside, as artists, you should be respecting what each other does,
Mhm.
you know? So if she wants to do oils, cool. If you want to paint with ketchup, cool. You can be that guy. Maybe you get famous for being the guy that draws with ketchup, and grandma's like, cool, I respect that, you know?
I think
Maybe she doesn't, I don't know.
also, if she is showing your stuff to a bunch of people, I wonder. Well, I don't know. I don't know what else you draw. So I guess like I mean, I guess then if you just do a lot of life studies, then she probably shows a lot of her friends because it seems like that's what she does. She does life studies too.
What are you saying? What?
Well, I'm saying like if you started drawing different things, like I wonder how much of your work, like let's say you just started doing character designs of I don't know, different weird stuff. I wonder if she would go off and show these things to your friends, to her friends. Then they probably wouldn't be like, yeah, maybe he's not, or maybe they're not a good fit for this group of people that draw landscapes. You know, I don't know. You're most known for animal rights stuff.
Oh, interesting.
There you go. That's a mission statement. Or artist statement.
Yeah, actually, Ushi and Crane, you guys actually have a lot in common. You're both kind of hermity. Hermits unite. I was gonna say bless you. That's ridiculous. And inappropriate. Inappropriate. It's just turned into a pretty fatty dragon now. Excuse me for the hiccups, or is that Canada thing? I don't think we do.
No, I don't think so.
You drew a thing, DJ? Good. And legal killer, at your age, not knowing what you want is totally fine. That's why you have to try a bunch of things. Remember I said experimentation is the most important thing right now for you to do? 100% true. Okay? If you haven't done one of these things with your grandma yet, maybe try it. See if you like it. If you don't, express to her that the next time you don't want to do it and you'd like to take a different kind of class or you want to do a different thing. You know, if she's into the art thing, she'll be like, okay, we'll figure out what you want to do. Stuff like that. So she should respect that, but, we'll see what happens. But yeah, knowing what you don't want to do is just as important, so figuring that out is important. Also, I am doing this animation so messy, you guys. So messy. On purpose. On purpose, because it's going to be tiny, so you don't need to go crazy with it. Otherwise, it would be way too much time. That right now isn't, it's not worth how much we'd be getting out of it in terms of the screen time, so remember to dial your carrying accordingly. prioritizing. Figure out the back of a character? Eliza, do you mean just like doing a turnaround almost? What I'll usually do is, like, if I was trying to do it for Hazel, I would basically draw her from the front but not fill in anything, so her silhouette's the same, and then figure out how, like, since her butt comes up in the back, her waistline would actually be curved up instead of down like it would be in the front. So, that sort of stuff. Okay, turnarounds. So real quick, I'll kind of show you. You have to think of things in primitives. I don't know how your art background is or anything like that, but you have to break something down into different shapes. And when you can do that, turnarounds become a little bit easier. So I'll explain real quick what I did. Let's say, I'll try to find a picture here. Because usually, unless the outfit's kind of crazy, you can use the front and draw it how you would, and then like even in some cases I've just copy pasted it and flipped it if I'm doing it digitally, and then just draw things differently from the back. So let's say, I'll do this real quick. Try to make this work. Alright, so this is a turnaround of Cloverkin because somebody wanted that. But let's say her hair wasn't there, or if we were drawing it, because basically I did draw this by hand the other way. Obviously I didn't do this digitally, so I tried to mirror it mentally. That's the hard part. But when you do this, the hands become kind of a different story. But if you can see right here, let me do this. You see that easy enough? Okay. So if I break it down into primitives, which is kind of a cylinder there, kind of a cone, right? So in the back here, her skirt goes up like that. So on this one, the skirt's gonna, oh, it's gonna be the other way. Sorry. See, I actually drew this kind of wrong. This should actually be coming up according to my front one. And then over here, since this goes down, right here is going to go up, right? And then this cone in the back, since it's showing, like this is the front, you're going to not see that part of it. Does that make sense? So you just got to think of things more like that. Hopefully that makes sense. Oh, thank you. I mean, art school doesn't really help you with this. Like, I didn't learn this really from art school. I had to figure this out. They teach you how to do a turnaround, which says, do a turnaround. Mm-hmm. So basically, I had to figure that out on my own. But anything like this bag here, if I was going to draw it from the back, and it's got all this junk on here like this, I mean, the back side of it, since it's kind of the same shape all the way around, or think about it in 3D. Like, well, this is the side, so the front, this is showing. Think about what's showing and what's not. And it's already kind of an acorn shape, right? So it's probably a little bit fatter. And then this goes down to about the middle of there. So drawing it that high is actually inaccurate. It'd be about right here, right? Because the whole thing, honestly, if I had to sum up drawing in one statement. It's basically figuring out how to use something you've drawn as a measurement tool for everything else you draw thereafter. Would you agree with that?
Mm-hmm.
So if I, like I said, if I drew this and this is the bottom part of this bag, well, this part goes up pretty high. This is almost where this is. So because of that, I'm going to say it's about right there, right? And then this goes up basically about twice as high as the bottom is, right? It's about over halfway, so then it's probably about here, right? And then, like I said before, this thing is probably about, let's say, see how that's about the same height? So take this, do that, and then draw it there, right? And then that's about where that is. This starts about where this thing is. So there, and there. I've got these things coming out there, so that'd be about right there. That's all drawing really is if you've done this sort of stuff enough, it's just about proportions, honestly, figuring out where things are with other things, you know?
It's math.
It's math. It's visual math, really. I know that sounds crazy, but it is.
I think for a lot of people, they don't want to think; they just want to do it.
Well, you know what I really hated? And I don't know, maybe this did help me more than I give it credit for, but remember in maybe high school when we had to take a picture, grid it out, and then go square by square? That did not help me.
No.
I would have rather drawn an eye and the rest of, like, figured out where stuff was, and then use that eye as measurement for wherever. That's the correct way to do that. The grid system doesn't help anyone. Really. I guess it can help you take things in small doses. Maybe that's its real purpose, is to show you, okay, just look at this part right now, but then it's still not general. It's specific to general. That's awful.
Yeah, you're not actually learning anything.
No, that was a terrible way to learn.
You are photocopying at that point.
Oh, bye, D-pad.
Bye, D-pad.
Bye, Paladin. Oh, dang, I missed all these goodbyes.
It literally is, though. Like, it's photocopying. Like,
It is.
You're a scanner. You're scanning bit by bit by bit by bit.
Legal, if you end up having trouble, please talk to us about it, because I feel like you're stressing yourself out way too much. You shouldn't be. At your age, you should be having some fun. Don't worry about stress yet. You're okay. It's gonna be okay.
Especially with that whole gallery stuff, like, if you want to do the things that you were telling us that you want to do.
You're not a crybaby. Don't worry.
Yeah, no. The things that you want to do, the things that you were saying that you want to do, you want to, like,
Just
do
don't
that
forget
stuff.
what you want to do.
Yeah. Doing gallery work, it's not going to get you there. I mean, like, it could.
They're
but,
leaving, by the way.
Okay. But, yeah, it's not going to help you.
Bye, DJ.
Bye, dude. And if Grandma's got a problem with that, she can talk to me about it.
Don't fight with people's grandmas. That's very unbecoming.
I won't fight her, but I'll tell her what's up.
A British grandma, a nice British grandma. You're gonna fight a British grandma.
No, I'm not fighting her. I'm just telling her how it is.
Do not tell grandma how it is. You don't know. She could be like harsh.
I tell it how it is, not how it should be.
Yes. Is this really what the coffee did to you? We should get
185 milligrams. What is caramel?
No, yours was a cold brew.
I know. I was checking out what the.
I think mine's like 90. Hi, cabbage farts. Welcome.
Oh yeah, macchiato has 150.
Mine does?
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah. No way. nuts.
Okay. Right, Serenity, yeah, he was. Macchiato. Macchiato. See, Ushi, I have a problem that I found out a lot of people have, and I thought I was the only one for a while. I can't have normal coffee. Apparently this is a thing. When I would, immediately, like within 5 minutes, I would get the worst headache in the world. I can have espresso drinks, but I cannot have regular coffee. It is the strangest thing, and I thought I was alone, but I looked it up, and a lot of people get this. Like, they get headaches off regular coffee, but not espresso. It's because there's more caffeine per volume or something. It was really weird. There's something where regular coffee ends up having more caffeine than espresso because there's more liquid. So it was just really weird. Oh, I used to do that, Crane. I even got on the weird kick of eating a clove of garlic a day. That's tough. And I love garlic, but holy crap. That was... Oh my god. It was so bad. Like, I love the shit out of garlic, but that was ridiculous. Way too much. I like it, but it burned. Like, it was weird. If you've ever just eaten a clove of garlic straight up, it burns. Like, it's ridiculous. Oh, I didn't know you grew up in Indiana, Ushi. That's cool. That's where Soggy lives. It burns so bad, yeah. I mean, I wish I could drink regular coffee just because it's so much cheaper and in abundance and stuff, but God, I can't. And I keep trying. Like today, bless Gabe, I was all like, oh man, I want a, sweet cream cold brew. Because I remember having it a while ago and it tasted so good. And it did taste good. But I got that headache and I was like, oh yeah, it's because I can't have regular coffee. So he was smart and he got me my backup macchiato just in case, which was smart. So, I don't know. It was just funny. Oh, this is all screwed up now. That's okay. Get out of here. You haven't been updating. You're a jerk. Yeah, I'm a fan of vinegary, like, pickly things, but Gabe doesn't like pickles. He doesn't like pickles or olives or a lot of garlic. Oh, Crane, what are the benefits of the garlic thing? I think it was just fighting antibodies or something. I forget. I was super, like, health freak back then. I don't remember what it was. Oh, Eliza, thank you. did you snaggle? Oh, man. Those of you who are waiting on the survey for Journey June, I'm basically going to be putting it out, I think, tomorrow, and it'll be live through Friday. Friday will be the cutoff to actually sign up for it. And the actual classes are probably going to be on 23rd and the 28th or 9th, somewhere in there. But I'm giving people till Friday basically to finish up what they need to. So they have a week to like catch up, basically. So that's good. Thank you, Serenity. It's honestly the only place I have patience in my life is with animation. Everywhere else I'm awful. I'm awful at it. I think the point with that is that I found out I am an animator when it's something small. I would never want to work on like a feature-length animation. The longest animation I ever did was that 2-minute long one. And that was even puppet animation. It wasn't frame by frame. So it was a lot, and I don't think I want to really do that again. I don't know. So I got a degree in animation, but I always knew I didn't want to do anything long term. Like any animation I wanted to do was gonna be for like games, and it was, and I used it a lot. But green garlic stuffed off olives, yeah, that's, oh my god, it's so good. Oh my god, that was actually one of my favorite things in Europe. They had green olives and that garlic sauce everywhere. I was in heaven. It was so good. The aioli sauce at every place we went. And then I could get a side of these fresh green olives that were just like stupid fresh. They had the pits in them and everything. Like, they weren't even pitted. They didn't have pimento. They were just an olive. Remember? In Europe, all the really good, oh my god. I can't find those. Even at olive bars. Yes, olive bars in America that have like blue cheese stuffed green olive and garlic stuffed green olive. They don't have regular fresh green olive unpitted. It's so good. Oh my god, so good. Anyway. Oh, Ushi. Is it therapy? I hear you, Serenity. That's a solid week. Yeah, the clove thing lasted me a couple days, and then I was like, nope, I can't do it anymore. No, Serenity, we don't have aioli sauce here. Like, it's not offered, like, in America, it's like ketchup, mustard, that's it.
It's very rare.
Yeah, it's got to be at like a hoity-toity place, basically. I still don't know if I've seen it anywhere here yet. I don't know, I've been on the lookout since then, but yeah, we don't have it. Not normally. Okay, so I've actually been making 2 animations without you guys knowing it. Well, bam. So one of them is just the dragon being idle. The other one is the dragon spouting fire. So I did this because this is going to be a GIF that's just sitting on the overlay. Now, if you have that, you have to have complete control of the timing, which means there's no swapping out during your stream, nothing. You have to be able to just have the GIF on your screen and just have the timing be perfect, like whatever you want it to be. Because you can't change anything once it's on your Twitch stream. So, like I said, I've been doing 2, well, the one, technically. So I've got one where he's just idly sleeping, right? And I'll have him do that maybe 10 times or something, where he's just sitting there in a loop. And then I'll have him kind of cough the fire and then go back to the other way, right? So the smart way to do that is not to actually do that many frames, because at the bottom of each one of these frames, if you look, there's actually timing on all these. Right down here. Like, these are all timing. So, let's see here. So that's him breathing the fire. And then the normal one is this one. Which I'm impressed if any of you noticed when I swapped files. This one is actually just him sleeping, right? And remember what I said, this doesn't need to be crazy detailed because it would actually be more confusing if it were, because it's going to be pretty small at the bottom of the screen inside this little hole on this thing here. Hold on. So you can see he'll be down in there. I'm going to texture him and stuff later, but that's after I've parted out all of the different, frames I'm going to be doing. So he'll be down there, and then once in a while he'll look up and cough, and he'll cough some fire. It'll be like every once in a while. But see how this animation keeps doing it? This one will be taken out of where it is right now and put into the other one after the other one's happened a few times. So, there's that. Hopefully that makes sense. Wait, are you... Oh god, Ushi, no way. I could never do that. Oh, Serenity, I don't think they probably last. Unless they have been at a deli and not at an olive bar. Maybe that's where I should have been looking.
Deli?
Yeah. I doubt it though.
Well,
our delis are usually just cheese and meat.
Yeah.
But
I'm surprised they just don't have them like canned at the very least.
Well, they're still not going to be the same.
Yeah.
Like the ones I had were so fresh, I just miss them. They were so good. So good. Does one frame have to be on one separate layer, actually? Yeah. So what I usually do, is if you are making one from like an illustration, I highly suggest when you've got the illustration where you want it to be. Here, I'll actually go through that if you want. I highly suggest making an animation file specifically for that. So, when have I done this? I'm trying to remember. Was it on my shirt? Oh, I thought it was 8 o'clock. I was like, what the hell? So what you're going to end up doing is basically appropriating your illustration for animation. So you're going to have to cut it up and flatten it. So that gets kind of interesting. Mage, did you get a tracking number for it or no? Oh, Serenity, I think we have the olives that are stuffed with garlic, but I'm talking about those olives you can order at restaurants that are like, I think they were an appetizer.
Mm-hmm.
They were on the appetizer list, and you just get this little ramekin that's just full of pit olives with pits, and it's great. Hi, DHC. Actually, I'll try something new for you, Barry. Let me grab a illustration of some kind. Okay, let's try this really ridiculous ink fairy. You're welcome. A weekish? When did you send it, Mage? Sorry, I'm spacing on that.
I imagine it'll probably take a while.
Yeah, usually tracking's only $1 extra. So, I mean, in the future, just so you know. Okay, so when cutting up an illustration for an animation, always duplicate your base layer. So you always have one that's just purely fresh. Okay, so that's over here, you can't really see it, but it's fresh. It's like pure. I'll do that. This one. So I duplicated it, keep it hidden, because you're going to need it often to get other pieces. So this one is probably a tough one to pick, actually. Let me see if I can find a digital one really quick. This traditional takes a while to like clean it, I guess.
Katya's here.
Hey, Katya! Right? Okay. You know what I'm talking about. You were there. You were literally there when I found them. Yes. Katya, have you found those anywhere else in America? I cannot find those. Lettermouse. What is lettermouse? I know, I think you and I bonded over the olives. I think it was one of our things. But yeah, I haven't found those anywhere else in America. Or anywhere in America, for that matter. Oh, I have an idea. Gotta find him now. What did I call him? Okay. Not even just at a restaurant, like just in a grocery store. I've been looking and I can't find it. Alright, Sniggle, we'll see you. God, I wish this was a little bit different. What time is it right now? It is 6:41 p.m. for us right now. Come on, my computer's being kind of... See you later, Snake. Let me look at another place real quick. Trying to find this one thing.
those spinner things for my pencils.
Yeah.
I found one.
How much is it?
Oh, it's like $20, but now I'm looking through all the other things that they offer.
Okay, real quick, so it's gonna depend on what you want to do. So depending on what you want to do, things can get kind of crazy. For this one, I'm just gonna work on top of it and add like some lighting for the flame here. Okay. Let's just do that. So that's a lot easier if you're just adding things on top of stuff or just altering something somewhat, as opposed to if I were to, in this one, make her skirt moving. Like, if I added waves happening on this, that'd be way easier than actually making this skirt blow in the wind, right? On this dress. Or her hair, for that matter. That's very intensive. But if you're just adding kind of an effect on an illustration, like I said, remember to duplicate it. And then I even duplicate twice because I know I'm an idiot. So I'll do that, and then like I'm gonna want this flame to move, right? So I'm gonna actually copy that, and since it's already kind of wavy, I'm gonna use the transform to wave it almost in a different direction. So to do it like that. What you're also going to want to do is have a base that's kind of a clear base. It's kind of free of whatever you've done here. That can be a little bit daunting too. Because like I said, if you just go in and color it in, or if you've got enough of a spot, I would lasso and then paste it in. But I don't currently. I don't have a lot of the same. I could take this and then lighten it up, but if you do have a lot of very specific pencil lines, use your healing brush and go in there with that. Because you still might see the background of the candle. So remember to do that. And then, see? Okay. So what I can do then is kind of take some time, blend this together, bring this down, blend it a little more so it doesn't look so crazy. Don't worry too much though, because this is going to end up getting covered up by your flame anyway. So I would go around and kind of fix things around the edges here that were influenced by that specific lighting. Okay, so that's pretty good. Alright, so like I said, because you're going to end up adding on top of that anyway, so it doesn't need to be perfect, right? And that's the original one. Now, we want to take a couple cues from the original one, but we don't necessarily want to use the original one. So that's why I pasted this one, right? And kind of clean it up, soften it a bit. Kind of like that, right? And then we can add some extra, like, lighting off of that. And this is what I was talking about. So you can do those lighting effects you had, but they're going to be animated now, right? And if I had more time, obviously I'd make this look a little bit better. This looks like blur. Okay, can you check into the chat now and then for me? Okay, so, and then I'd probably even make that a little brighter. And add looks pretty hot as as far as that goes. If you want it to look a little bit more blurry so it doesn't look so like I just drew it in quickly like I did, use your Gaussian blur. It'll create some halos, and honestly you can do this a few times, and I would even turn down the opacity, erase some, and erase it kind of harsh in a couple areas, and then do your Gaussian blur again. And then see how it kind of makes the halo effect a little bit more. It's a little bit more convincing too. Oh, bye, Mage. Hey, DC Cool. Oh, no, Serenity, not like those. They are literally just your most basic bitch off the tree olives, honestly. They were huge, they were delicious. Oh yeah, Eliza, good. I'm glad you can get a lot out of that. Oh, DC, cool. Why aren't you functional? Hi, Buggles. How you doing? Okay, so we've got that one, right? So that's our first one. I am going to copy the layer style that I've set here. So all these are layer style stuff that I've put on that flame, right? Because I'm going to end up copying that. I'm also going to duplicate what's underneath that so I can kind of play with it, so it's consistent. I can rotate it. It'll be the same but different, if that makes any sense. So we've got that. Let's see. That's our original. That's our blank. Okay. So I'm going to put the original up there. These two go on top of that, right? That's the flame, so I combine that. So I'm going to copy the flame again, this time a little bit more true to the flame that's here, because this will be our second keyframe, really. So copy that, drag that, add that layer style, so you right click on that again, paste layer style, so now it's the same as that other one that we had. It's that one, and that one came with the halo. Okay. So now we've got, this was our other halo, so I would just even do something like turn it, maybe bulk it up a little bit, maybe change its lighting slightly. Let me go up. So if it doesn't let you go up anymore, duplicate it, turn down the opacity a bit, and that will actually brighten it up. Do that, and then add that on top of it. So that one needs a little bit more of this. There it is. Okay. So then I'll merge these together. Alright. So right now, as it is, we have this one, and we have this one. And right now, it's kind of crazy, I know. We just have the two. But if you change the timing here, it looks a little jank, right? That's because we need a third one. So the third one's going to be the one in between that transitions, right? From back and forth. Lychee's here.
Lychee.
And Austin. Hi,
Wow.
Austin. Oh, Serenity, I would love that. That'd be amazing. You would be a saint. Okay, so now I've still got this one here, which I have to change for a third time. And usually, if this one's in between the other two, you want it to kind of reflect that, so you'd have it halfway in between the two phases that the other two were, but, I mean, that's up to you. So I'm going to take this again. Barry, is this all making sense so far? And then I'm going to make it an in-between for the other two, which means that it has to have technically, you know, all of its major vertices or points that are jutting out from either side of both those keyframes have to kind of meet in the middle. So this is kind of the straightest point, I guess. Oh good, it's making sense. Okay. So I'm going to go here, I'm going to use the warp. I'm going to bring the furthest most bits in, the innermost bits out, and then I'm probably going to have to jank it around a little bit more, so like do this. And actually add fire in. And this is where it can get a little iffy, especially if it's traditional art. You're going to have to, this is your best friend, okay? The healing brush here, this will help you so much with so many things. The clone stamp, because it'll keep that texture that your pencils and stuff have made consistent. And a lot of people won't even go here, like to this step for animation, because it is so tough to keep that consistency. with traditional work, but honestly, if I could monetize this somehow, I would love to do this all the time. Just animate my traditional work. I would love to do that, but there's like no way to make money off that, sadly. So then I'm gonna up that, and then have that in there, and then this will be the middle one. So that one is this one is that one is this one.
Eliza, we do use Twitter, but probably not as much as we should.
Yeah, I wish I used it more. Okay, so that's the same. That's probably reasonable. So this one should have been here. Sort of. So this, like I said, this is very, very rudimentary, I guess. Okay. So let's take. Did you burp or hiccup?
Both.
Ish. I think I smell one. That's gross. So you can tell that one's turned on here that shouldn't be. Remember to keep things consistent. So, like the fact I've got a little piece jutting off here, you're going to want to make sure that that piece is also visible, at least going away in another shot. So, there, and then, you know, you could have it just like this. And it's gone. See? Twitter's actually had a resurgence, especially with when Twitch got more popular again. Twitch and Twitter are like best friends now. Thank you, Austin. Yeah, the stamp tool really helps with traditional animation stuff. But yeah, Twitter can be great. But for the most part, like, I don't know. I'm very tempted a lot to write my personal thoughts, so I just don't. Because I know what that means. But anyway, I've just found in general over time, keeping your thoughts to yourself when it comes to the internet is probably the smartest thing to do. Unless they're like funny or whatever, but. Alright, Barry, did you have any questions then on any of this? Did I go too fast? Hopefully not too bad. I mean, for the time I did it, and hopefully it helped. It's still a bit jank, so because it is, I would either go in here and make these less crazy, because the thing that makes things look very choppy, is either their angles are really too far away where there's nothing in between them, or you just need more in-betweens between your actions. But oh, you're welcome, Barry. Oh, I'm so glad. So now that I smooth those out, it's not as janky, but I still have a problem with how much it jumps around down here. Luckily, that's kind of how flames work. So if I want to keep it a little more consistent, I'll just change it down here with how often it jumps around and make it more consistent. But so that's a little better. And then what I would do is also go through the picture and actually put, so I put these in their own folder, which would be fire, and then I can make another folder for a different animation, which is like ambient, right? So this is going kind of next level. So what this would do is actually affect the lighting of everything, which I've already got a base lighting down, but if I want it to kind of flicker with the rest of what's happening, I can go through and kind of do on all the stuff that you kind of see right away. So the stuff that's surrounding the candle, that's pretty immediate. You don't have to do it on anything that's like way hell over here if you don't want to, because what we could do is just do an animated vignette that's just kind of pulsing, and that'll get it across. But for the most part, I could just do this, turn it down a bit, and then duplicate that, change it a little bit, erase some stuff, maybe just a slightly, so it, like I said, it just varies it a little bit, so you know something's different, and then see how that looks when we change it. Okay, so obviously that's a little cheesy, but this one could stand to be turned down probably a little bit. There we go. That's a bit better. And then what I would do is, like I said, do that animated vignette that's doing, let's see, okay. So we've got that. Let's put this below. So that can actually,
Barry's asking if making a folder lets you do a second animation. Or
yes,
just
on
adding
top of it. It doesn't, your entire document is just one animation. Adding folders is just adding animated elements, so you can actually organize them. So it's all happening in the same time frame. So if you have multiple animations, different scenes and stuff, you're going a little bit too far out of what Photoshop can do, and then I would get After Effects. After Effects is my, like, I love it program. I've loved it for decades. Like, it's the best. But Photoshop is nice for little GIFs and, like, little stupid idle things, you know. It's definitely not for anything too crazy, which, like I was saying, is more what, you know, what After Effects is for. So what I would do here is, where would you propagate? Is have two here, that one is changing either size or also its opacity, and then going between the two. So if we've got this one's supposed to be at 50 something or 46, and then we'll do this one. Turn that on, because really it's just flipping layers on and off. You're just animating layers flipping on and off. That's it. That's the extent of what Photoshop does. Yeah, right, Austin? So that's why we like doing this once in a while, because it's like, hey, we do this. You know, we're not just traditional artists. This is where we're telling you, too, that it's really beneficial, especially in this day and age, to be able to do 50-50, both digital and traditional. And this is where I am saying, too, that traditional will always be backwards compatible with going to digital, but digital will not carry you through traditional if you're not used to traditional. You need both. You really do. Oh, Liza, you need to sleep. AJ, I forget, do you have an Instagram? Sorry, I feel bad. Tumblr is just not where I like to be, but yeah, so hopefully that helps, that in this document, it's all one animation. For compiling animations, you can use other programs, like that's mainly what After Effects is for. You can do everything I've shown you and more with After Effects, but if you don't want to buy After Effects and you have a couple like movie making programs. Usually you can export these as like GIFs or little quick times, import them into those other programs, and then edit them that way. It's kind of a roundabout method of doing it, but you can do it. Cool, AJ, thank you. Thank you for sharing. Oh, you're this person. Oh, AJ, I'm so sorry. I didn't recognize. Yes, no, this is wonderful. I'm so glad what I said that one time provoked you into making that one piece. That's so wonderful. I don't know why seeing your name in color and in capitals. Oh my god. 13 months in a row, Soggy!
Whoa!
What?
Wow.
Oh my god.
That's insane.
Oh my god, Soggy, that's over a year. I think you're my longest sub. It was a year last month? You must not have been in here. I feel bad we missed your 1 year. Soggy. Well, I owe you a picture. I think what I'm gonna do is for people who have subbed over a year, we've got to do something. Like, at least a little original, something like that. So, Soggy, you're on the docket for getting something original, alright? I'm writing it down, because that's crazy town. Soggy, ATC. Yeah, we gotta get back on our game of, like, our emojis and stuff. Anyway, you are the OG, man. You totally are. Yeah, AJ does make me think you're a dude. Yeah. But, like, seeing it with capitals and then knowing it from Instagram, for some reason, when it's lowercase, it doesn't relay. Anyway, Soggy, get Subshrub. Subshrub nut rubs. Make a wish, okay? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Damn. He's getting raw over here. These are his hands, by the way. Get your mind out of the gutter. And then you get a little melancholy clover. Melancholy clover. He's so nonchalant. Anyway, thank you, Soggy. We miss you. We love you. Applause to Soggy Bridges. Everybody give Soggy an applause. Because really, he's been here a long ass time. Alright, back to the rat. So, ooh. Obviously, that's a little bit too dark. For some reason, I don't know why he keeps doing that. Weird. Okay. This one, too. Don't know why that one's so nutty. Okay. So if you make it really subtle. Oh, I see. I see how it is. Jerk. Wigging out on me right now. It's not doing what I'm telling it to. Okay. Now are you gonna do it? Oh, what? Maybe I do want them to propagate. I hate this word, propagate. I never know what this means. I'll be completely honest. I have no idea what that damn thing means.
How long have we been streaming?
Today?
How long have we been doing streams?
A year and a half?
Yeah, well, I think early 2000.
It was March
17?
last year? Yeah, March last year. God, that is... Yes, I think it was March last year. Okay, so when it comes to lighting, you want it to always be pretty subtle. So I'm gonna actually just, at this point, blur the shit out of these so that it's way more subtle than it is right now. Steps to Soggy. Hey! Hey! I totally pictured that. That's so crazy, Soggy. Right? I used to think that too, Eliza. Like, it's crazy. Twitch has this really great community for art that I was not aware of until I became part of it, and it's wonderful. Like, we've met a lot of people in real life at conventions and stuff that we've done, and a lot of our friends that we have now are from Twitch. So it's been really great overall. We're very lucky. Because I think the bad side of Twitch actually might be in the gaming area, unfortunately. But like I said, our people have been wonderful. Okay, so that's a little bit more... God, that edge is going to kill me though. I hate that. Actually, no. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that. And I'm going to do this. Because it's the edge in the bottom right corner that was driving me nuts. So let's do that. Maybe that'll help. So do one. Do another. Okay, maybe that'll be better. A little bit. Still not very good. So you keep working with it. I would even say you could, depending on your opacity, just kind of make it crazy, I guess, but not too crazy. That's a little bit better. And this is where it's hard to be an animator and not cause seizures. Try this other one then. That should make it a little bit better. And that should make it a little bit better. It's just those hard edges you want to get rid of. There! Yeah! Okay. Got it. So there you go. That's how to kind of add animation to a traditional piece that originally was not animated. Just by adding a couple things. So we'll go over real quick what happened with that. The original was this. So you can see, obviously, we did a lot of work on the flame, right? I would say if you're just starting to do this, pick something to kind of be the main animation. You can always do secondary animations, but focus first on the first one. The crappy thing is, though, if you, let's say, start off with the frame, and it was just like we've got here, a 4-frame animation, and let's say we got crazy and wanted to actually animate his tail, right? His tail is going to be a lot more frames, right? So the only thing you'd have to be aware of is if you added frames to it, make sure you end on at least one full cycle of the candle. So I would say, like, maybe the tail ends up being 8 frames, right? Or 6. Make sure it ends on 8 because the candle here takes 4. So what you would do then is just animate the tail as the 8, you know, and its full cycle, let's say, to be smooth is like this, and it's like 8. It takes a full 8. But the candle only needs 4. You could make the candle really, really well animated, but if you just wanted to keep it where it was with what we were doing, just with the 4, you would just copy that again and do it again. Hopefully that's helpful. No, Sagi, this is just this was the bare bones easiest way to animate something quickly. Pretty quickly. So, and obviously we've added more lighting with it too. And you could even go more crazy. Like, if I were to actually sit down and do this, I would animate the tail. I would probably animate maybe the bookmark slightly doing this, and maybe some of the drapes up here doing something, but I would also add some shading there, and then back here coming off him that's more active, and then obviously having this shadow on the floor from the tail, right? I would be doing something like this, so that it would look, I don't know, like he's further placed in the space. The way we've got him right now, it's whatever. It's an older piece too, so it's not exactly up to par with what I'm into right now, but you turn it down and, do some more finagling that way. But it would need a lot more shading work, I guess, because of how bright we made that light. Like, this would probably be closer to the sort of dramatic lighting it would have, and then depending on what you've got going on here, so that sort of thing. Which I guess I could even leave that, as long as I don't animate that. Keep that the same. Yeah. So even like that, I mean, that's something, right? There we go. So this was not even what we started with, but I'm going to save it because it's kind of cool. My friend Deborah's rat. So there's that. But back to what we were doing, which was Paladins. Oh! Eli, thank you for the follow! Hopefully it's okay I said Eli. Sorry, McBennick. We'll go with that. McBennick. Thank you for the follow. But we were gonna we're working on the dragon, which...
Bet AJ.
What?
I followed AJ.
AJ Ryan AJ or DJ?
Yeah, AJ Ryan.
DJ AJ.
And they
AJ
thanked
DJ.
me.
It's weird, it's like after Journey June, all these people are coming back. Come on, Journey June wasn't that bad. Alright. So, I think we're gonna be done though for today. I mean, we got the dragon, he's got his little wig and puff, and then this one is just idle. And so I'll combine both of those so they're better timed, and then I'm gonna add some extra texturing and stuff to fit him in the spot, so when he's on the Twitch screen, he's actually integrated better. Try Dagmums! Dagmums! It's true. How do you get the fire-breathing dragon combined with the non-fire-breathing one? Okay, so I would take, I'd have to take over the layers from this one, and then put them in this one, which isn't too hard. So I've got a million monitors here, so give me a second, and I'll be able to. So like I showed you in that other animation, you can put things in folders. So I'm going to put that in. I'm going to call that idle. Okay. And then I have another folder that says fire. Okay. So then I can take fire one in those frames, bring them over. Make sure you press shift when you bring file layers from another file over to another file that's got the same size and everything. Hold shift because it'll put it in exactly the same spot. So then now these are in here, okay? So what I'll have to do then is I can duplicate the ones I've got here. So what I'll probably do right now is to copy frames, paste frames, paste after selection, okay? So it does it again, paste frames, after selection. So usually I wouldn't want to do this until I'm very, very finely done, because obviously if I did anything now, I would have to go back and redo all of these with the texture and stuff. So this isn't the final, but I'll just show you real quick how to do it. So we would do those a couple times, however long I wanted it to go on for. So Actually, let's do 5. So one more after this one. And then, after this, then I take over here. Okay, make sure that's not on. Turn that on there, and then I'm gonna animate. I'm gonna turn off these guys. Turn on this one, right? Because now this should go seamlessly into the next one because I had copied those ones over. And really, you should never have an animation this long in Photoshop. This is a little bit too much, and if you are doing this, you should probably get a bigger animation program like After Effects, because this is a little much for Photoshop. And I have had it where sometimes Photoshop just gives up. It's like, nope, I'm done. And then, let's see. And then that's over with, and it should line up. Yep, right with the beginning. Alright, so then every once in a while he'll do the thing. So he's sitting here. That's 1, 2 about, 3 about, 4 about. Yep, there it is. So he'll be at the bottom of the screen kind of doing that every so often. Because you don't want him having it too often because obviously then it's annoying, really. Especially as an ambient animation on a Twitch stream. So since he'll be at the bottom there, let me go grab. Where is it, Paladin? Yeah. So he's got. Yeah. So that's the thing he's sitting in. Right there. So this will actually be. See where my jar is in the lower right? This is for Paladin. So the dragon will be down there. And he'll just be sitting there like his whole stream, and then once in a while he'll peep his head up and then do his little cough. And little pet dragon. But like I said, I still have to texture him so he fits kind of in that space better. Right now, not so much. I might even clip him so that an example here would be if I put both of these animations in a bigger folder, added a clipping mask, I should be able to just clip him out partially. Yeah, so he actually looks like he's behind part of that, and then that should just work. Yeah, but see, it's got some issues here. Right there. So maybe. Yeah. So see how I was able to mask out part of the animation so it looks like he fits better behind the moss? And obviously I'd have to fix that a little bit better. There we go. So that kind of stuff is obviously going to set him better in the scene. Similar to, like if I wanted to do this really quick, and have him behind these rocks too, if you could. But, yeah. So clipping masks are your friend. Yeah, After Effects does not have any sort of drawing capabilities, at least the last time I used it, which was only a year or 2 ago. So yeah, basically it's either draw frame by frame outside of After Effects, import all the frames, or do puppet animation, which their version of puppet animation is really slick. Way better than Flash's ever was. Photoshop doesn't really even have that capability. You can fake it, but it sucks. But yeah, frame by frame in either Photoshop or Clip Studio if you want real nice lines. Oh yeah, Clip Studio for sure. And then export out all your frames, put them into After Effects, and then you can adjust everything in there. They have so many options for everything, it's fantastic. But yeah, unfortunately you can't do frame by frame. They do have a lot of cool things though in terms of simulation and particles. So if you ever catch yourself starting to do like sparkles or anything like that, before you do that, use After Effects because it's so good. Their particle systems are awesome. And you can really dumb them down a lot, so it's really cute couple sparkles, like, and you can use your own images too for the simulators, which is really nice. So when you've got an emitter, which is where something starts when you have a particle. Like if you had snow, usually there's an emitter at the top, and you can stretch that out if you want it to be more of like a curtain, or you can have it be like in a little ball so it comes out from the center, whatever you want it to be. But you can make your own particles and input them into the settings, into the emitter, so that what it's emitting is different particles that you've made. So if you wanted your own snowflake, you can do that, stuff like that. So before you actually animate a bunch of like snowflakes or sparkles or something, use After Effects if you're going to go that far. It's worth it, especially if you want to dive into animation like hard. The only reason I haven't bought it again is because I don't unfortunately get to use animation as much as I like, but if I ever get rich, it'll be the first thing I do. Oh, you're welcome, Serenity. Don't think it's beyond you. I think you'd be fine, actually, if you just even started small. Like I said, this is a blank one here, right? So if you just start by, making a frame here, and it's a guy, and he's like, hey, what's up? I got a thing. And then you duplicate that, and you can just lasso it, do this, and then move it. Let's say he has a potato. He's got a potato. He's doing that, right? Frame 1, frame 2. Potato, potato, potato. There you go. You can do that. Serenity, you can do that. All animation is doing that, and then a little bit more. So maybe he's also blinking. I don't know. Or he could be throwing up. He's blinking and throwing up. What's going to happen really fast. This is where you make yourself laugh because you're lame. I feel queasy. What's wrong, guy? I don't know. What is this potato? Poison potato. The worst kind of potato ever. Smoggest? Oh, cute. That's a cute one. Dude, Eliza, if you do an illustration challenge every month for a year, you'd have, what's 30 times 12? You'd have a 360-page book of just every single month. You could, oh my god, that'd be awesome. I mean, granted, you could do 12 smaller books, but if you just had like a year anthology of 360 drawings of like themed things, that'd be nuts. I haven't seen anyone do that yet. You could be the guy. You can do the thing. Pukey potato, blah, 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 blah. I mean, honestly, it gets really fun, though, when one time I wanted to have a skunk jumping around a room just for fun, just because I wanted to do the follow-through. Let me see if I can find it. Shopping. Dance. Oh, here's one of me and Gabe I usually have up. I made that one a while ago. There's Gabe. Magic. Obviously my screen banner. But got one of a skunk somewhere. Is this the Bolivia bug? Oh, look at this baby. I love them. They're super poisonous. Oh, and then for anybody that knows all of Von House, 1 year for Christmas, I did little animated like things of each one of them. So there's like Tim, this is Tim, sad, happy, mad, and then Tyler, happy, Tyler mad, Tyler sad. I had Corinna too, back when Corinna lived with us. But no one ever used them. It's okay. I'm just going through my gifts now. Sometimes it's fun to make gifts of your friends. Back to dance. I do have one of the skunk, but I don't know where it is. I'll go down. That's so weird. I don't know where I made this. I don't know why. I don't know where it went though. That's weird. Okay. Whatever. I don't know where it is. I'll bet I just called it Annam. I'm that guy. Oh, thank you guys. The cowboy twerk. He does twerk. He doesn't do it well, but he twerks. Don't you, Gabe?
Mm-hmm.
I thought I just called it skunk. I don't know what I did. Alright, anyway. It doesn't even have the word skunk in it. What's your problem? What is that? Oh no. My Templar. Don't look! I don't know where I put it. Oh, that bothers me. Oh, I have all of Jupiter on here. Should I spoil it for everybody? Anyway, okay. Oh, Glitterholic's almost dead on the thingy. Oh no. Alright, so this is Mr. Potato Man. We'll go out with him getting his potato on, I guess. Unless I'm gonna get the spinning wheel of death. Also possible. Anyway. Okay, guys. Gabe will be on tomorrow night. Gabe, him, this guy, at 9 p.m. Central on his channel, which is under the name that is on his face. So, be sure to stop by then. What are you going to be doing, Gabe?
Probably just ATCs, to be honest. I gotta do ATCs for all my patrons because I owe them a bunch. So I'll just be drawing cool things or whatever. Maybe I'll even use some manga zip tone so you guys can see how to use that.
What does the mushroom button on the screen do? It's for loyalty points and gambling. So I mean, whatever you want to do with it. I don't have a setup for the loyalty points. I used to when we had Revlo, but whatever. Now we don't. Now it's just feel good. You get to like gamble more. I don't know. If you are one of Gabe's patrons, if you come to his streams while he's doing the patron cards, you can kind of tell him what you want. I mean, as long as you're here, you know.
Or if I'm doing a specific one and you're like, I want that one.
What tier do they get the
$10.
$10? Is it just $10 or 10 and up?
Just 10.
Okay. So anyway, Gabe will be doing that tomorrow on his stream. And I think for me, Tuesday and Thursday, I'm going to be working on commissions. Also, I was working on this for Sniggle. So maybe I'll be doing that later. I don't know. It's of a friend's original character. He ordered a commission from me. So, Sagi, I owe you an ATC for 12 months of supporting me. So thank you so much. And we're glad you're here. We miss you. Oh my God, we miss you. Okay, guys. Also, thank you if you participated in Journey June, which was amazing. Not only that, but if you did do all the 30 days or you're so close, finish it up because you have till Friday, okay? I'm going to put up the survey pretty soon, probably tomorrow, and then you fill it out. You get the free publishing class, so it'll be up till Friday, okay? And then I'm going to take it down on Friday because that's a deadline. So if you're at like in the 20s, push it, finish it, okay? And you can still get the class because you've got till Friday, all right? So finish it up, and we'll see you tomorrow on Gabe's stream, all right? Cool, man. Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Bye.